Hello everyone, this is your friend from Naruto Audio Fanfics, and we are back once again with a brand new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto was neglected by his parents and sister and chose to walk his own path? Naruto times Hinata times Sakura times Ino times Tenten times Tamari times Kurenai times Anko times Tsunade times Shizune times Mei times Konan times Yugito times Samui times Karui times Fu times Kushina times Makoto times Ayame times Hana, Harem, Part 2. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to hit the like button, thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing Naruto fanfics like this. So without wasting any more time, let's start today's fanfic. It has been a month since the war and everything was rebuilt. All of the bloodline haters have either died or left the village, so they went back to a peaceful life. Megumi was happy with being the one who sacrificed, seeing as no one was really too bad for her. There was only a few people that resented her for various things, but mostly everyone didn't care what her past was or ignored it completely. Also, both her and Mai have grown up a little bit more and were looking more beautiful than ever. Mai, who now wore a black version of what her sister with red highlights around the neck, sleeves and bottom rim of the dress. Her figure stayed slim with her constant training, and she had C-cup. Her hair was kept in a simple ponytail that traveled half down her back and was tied up with a simple red bow. Megumi was also looking great with her hair cut short so it just barely touched her neck. She wore a simple green kimono that split at her legs, letting her have the mobility she needs while showing of her smooth legs. While she also had a C-cup that were just a little bit smaller than her friends. Both of them were now going to their last day of school so that they could learn which team they were going to be on. So, they happily walk into the classroom that already had a bunch of kids happily talking. So, they quickly sat down and began to talk until it was about time for the teacher to come in. So, when they all heard the door open up again, they all looked over to see who was coming in and was surprised to see Naruto walk through instead. Naruto still had his normal cloak on and looked the same except for growing an inch or two. The only difference was the two swords he had on his back. The swords were each about 3 feet long with a dragon wrapping around the sheaths. They also had a guard with the image of a dragon head biting the handle. Plus, both of the handles were wrapped in red leather. They both were called twin dragons. I only put it in bold because I can't find a way to put it in different language, not that I really care. He got them from Mei when she tried getting people to use the special swords again. Flashback equals. You wanted to see me, Mei? Naruto asked her. Yes, Naruto, I did. You see, we had a special group of swordsmen who each carried a special sword. Now there was 7 of them and 8 swords because we never could find someone for one of the swords. Now we already had one of our Jonin be accepted by a sword, so I want you to try and get one yourself as well, seeing as you seem to be quickly gaining power as well. So, how about we go see if we can hook you up with a sword Mei asked, and then lead him down to where they were kept. So, Naruto tried to see if each sword would accept him by pumping chakra into each one, and so far he tried and failed with all but one sword. Course, this was the one that no one used yet, so it wasn't personalized at all, it was just a regular looking sword with the creator's name etched in the side. Still, Naruto wanted one, so he gave it a try, and this time when he put his chakra into it, the sword began to morph. So, Naruto put the sword down and let it do what it wanted. So, both Mei and Naruto watched curiously as the sword finished up by slitting itself in two. So when it was finally done, there were 2 black blades that had 2 different kanjis. The left one had the kanji for Dragon Fighter and the other one had the kanji for Fox Fighter on the it. Wow, these swords are awesome. Naruto couldn't help but say as he looked at them. Which gave Mei a smile as well, saying, "Yup, and they are all yours, swordsman, so let us give you the style you will be using with them Or you could always use your own, it doesn't really matter." So, Naruto simply told her that he would use his style, seeing as he already knew his fox claw style. And with that, Naruto left the room to train more. Flashback end equals. When Naruto entered the classroom, several girls blushed a bit seeing the person they had a crush on. Still, Naruto took no notice and walked up to Megumi and Mai. What are you doing here? I thought you were already at least Chunin. Mai asked, confused. Ah, Yeah, well, you see, Mei-chan wants to show that we are strong still, so she is going to put me on a team until the Chunin exam, where I will then go up to my rank. Though I have no idea which team I will be on, seeing as she still wanted it to be a surprise. Naruto told them, which of course got both of them hoping that they were on his team. Course everyone else wanted to be on his team as well and wanted to ask, but that was the time when their teacher came in. Okay, then I know you guys are all excited about being genin, but be quit for a while so I can actually tell you which team you are on. The teacher said, that made all of the class pay attention to him completely. Okay, then these are the teams. I am only going to say Naruto's team. Team 8 is Naruto, Megumi, and your sensei will be Yoshira, and as soon as he finished, all of the Jonin walked into the room. Course everyone knew about her already. She had big D cup that she hides in a dark red kimono with a black sash around her stomach. She also has dark hazel eyes and long blonde hair that was kept out of her eyes using her headband. Though she never holds any weapons on the outside of her outfit, everyone knows that she hid weapons all throughout her sleeves using seals. The only thing that some think harmed her good looks was the scar that she had on both cheeks from a swordsman trying to kill her. Course she only got the scar because she was fast enough to move her head just enough to have it not kill her. Still, she is in the Frozen Mist Princesses, which every guy knows is the scariest group in the village. Seeing as if they even think that you are being perverted around one of them, you will be in trouble. Course it is even rumored that the Cage herself is a member of it. All in all, she is not one to mess with. Team 8 with me, Yoshira said simply, and then had them all follow her into one of the restaurants in town. And after they ordered, then their sensei began to talk to them. Okay, then, as your old told you, my name is Yoshira. Now you Sally, we would have a test to see if you could actually be a good team. By Mei-sama told me to skip it, so I will just get to know each one of you. So, just say your name, likes, dislikes, and your dreams. And I will start. I like dango, my friends in the club, and training. I dislike fangirls, Joshio Tem, and perverts. My dream is to live a good life. You next, redhead. She finished up, then waited for her team. My name is Mai. I like Megumi-chan, Naruto-kun, my sister, and training. I dislike perverts, and Konoha. My dream is to become strong and have a family, Mai said happily and blushed while looking over at Naruto when she said the last part. Okay, then, so she has a crush on Naruto, her soon-to-be teacher, though, when Mai said that. Okay, then it is your turn now, turtle girl, Yoshira said. My name is Megumi, not Turtle. I like the turtles that are always friendly, my friends, and using ninjutsu. I dislike evil turtles, my cousin, and perverts. My dream is to heal my family's name and to start a family with a good man, Megumi said, and then also looked at Naruto. Now, seeing as both saw this, they both though different things. This team is going to be awkward as long as they don't figure things out. Their sensei thought. She likes him too, I guess we will have to fight for him. I just hope we can stay friends after I win, both girls thought at the same time. Meanwhile, Naruto remained completely clueless about all of this. Okay, then, training will be starting every day at noon at training field 6, and now I need to go to a meeting, so enjoy the rest of your meal. Yoshira said, then shunshined away to talk with Mei like the rest of the Jonin teachers. Course she had to wait for all the others to leave before she could say what she really wanted to. Mei, you never told your sister and her friend about Naruto's CRA, did you? Yoshira asked her with a bit of a sigh. No, of course I didn't. Do you think I really have to? Mei asked. Yeah, I am sure that they both like him. The only reason Naruto didn't is because he apparently has no skill in reading girls' emotions. Yoshira said with a neutral voice. Quote, comma, dot. Okay, then I will tell them, dot, and get them to teach Naruto a bit, Mei said with a sweat drop on the back of her head. A kid that is growing to be one of the smartest people I know in many areas doesn't even have the slightest idea how to talk to girls, is all she can think while she sweat drops. Okay, bring them in here tomorrow after you train them, Yoshira, Mei told her, and then watched as she left the room. Plus, next day, Mai and Megumi went out to try and find Naruto so that they could tell him how they felt together, because that is what they decided after hearing what Mei told them. If he really has to marry multiple women, I guess I can share just as long as he still loves us equally. They both thought as they finally saw Naruto. Hey Naruto, is it true that you are under CRA? Mai asks him. Yeah, why? Naruto said while sweating a bit. Crap, they're going to think I am just a pervert, aren't they? Naruto thought, thinking he would lose his friends. Okay then, would you mind dating us then? Megumi asks, blushing so much that she looked like a tomato. What? Naruto asks in total disbelief. You heard her, we want in, Mai said, blushing just a bit less than Megumi. Please say yes already, this is embarrassing, Mai thinks as she waits. Why yes you're? Naruto says, still in shock. I can't believe it, I mean yeah, I like them, but I wasn't going to tell them yet, seeing as I just don't know how they would react to CRA, but now I don't have to. I mean they already figured it out and are okay with it. This is great, I finally get to date the dream girls. Naruto was thinking as he stuttered out his answer. After that he was hugged by the two girls with such force that he was knocked to the ground. And from that day on the team couple was made. Plus week after plus. Okay then Team 8, your next mission is to bring back Zabuza Momochi and his companion Haku back to the Mist Village. You see he left for failing to kill the last Kage, so we could use him back because he is very strong and has basically done nothing wrong. Mei tells them and then with a simple nod they run off to try and find them. Plus Konoha, weakened 2 days before plus. All was peaceful in the village until Kiba was heard screaming in the mission handout area. No. I demand that I get a better mission. These missions are an insult to my power, so give me better ones. Kiba screamed at the Chunin giving out missions. Who of course quickly decided to give him a mission just to shut him up. Okay then here is a C rank mission then Kiba. You and your team are to protect this man as he finishes the bridge he is making. Bring him in please, Minato asked the Chunin by the door, who nodded and opened the door to show a drunken Tazuna in. So, these are the people to protect me. Bah, they don't look like much. Tazuna drunkenly slurred out, which caused the Kiba to get angry and try to kill him. No Kiba, you can't kill the person we are supposed to protect. And don't worry Tazuna, I will be there to protect you as well, so no harm will come to you. Kurenai said, smiling while still holding Kiba by the back of his shirt. And after a few moments they were off traveling with him to the wave. They all quickly passed a puddle that all Kurenai ignored. It is so sad that they think that will trick us, Kurenai though, as she secretly stared at the puddle. Still the ninja attacked and quickly killed. Kurenai then ran at Hinata. When she saw this she was about to attack when she saw that Kiba beat her to it when he quickly knocked out the missing nin. Hey, I just saved you Hinata, so how about a date with the strong hero? Kiba say, only to be turned down by her soon after. Damn it. I will have you eventually, Kiba thought. And with them done with the ninja, Kurenai came back and confronted Tazuna about his lie. Which only lasted a little bit until they all decided to continue still. But after a little bit longer Kurenai screamed out, "Duck!" right before a giant sword flew over them and hit the tree behind them. Well Kurenai, the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha, how about you hand over the old man and I will let you go? A voice asked her from the sword, and when she saw who it was she began to mentally freak out. Crap, that is Zabuza, the demon of the mist. How will I be able to beat him with my genjutsu? She thought, worried, but hid it and said no to him. Zabuza looks the same as in the anime. Too bad now the kids have to die, Zabuza said, then quickled went to try and kill them all, but thanks to a kunai block from Shino pushed it down, so he only smacked them away. So, Zabuza went to the weakest person, who looked to be the youngest girl of the group. Which of course pissed off Kurenai, seeing as she always wanted kids and treated Hinata like one of hers. So, with strength she didn't know she launched him into a tree with a well-placed kick to the chest. Suffer, Kurenai said, then put him into her special anti-pervert genjutsu featuring Guy, terrifying Zabuza so much that he didn't try to stop Kurenai as she brought a kunai closer to his neck. Thankfully for him, his weapon threw needles into his neck, killing him before she could then taking him out of the battle area. Course that was one of Kurenai's strongest genjutsu, so she was tired as well but was still able to walk to Tazuna's house. Come on, let's hurry, is all she said, and they all went as fast as they could with the old man to his house. When they got there they were greeted by Tsunami, who happily let them in. After they got in and all settled in, they all began to train for when Zabuza and his helpers came back. Plus week after plus. Kurenai and her team brought Tazuna to work on the bridge for one of the last days of working on the bridge. Course nothing really happened unusual, so Tsunami and her son brought Tazuna his lunch as usual. Grandpa, we got your lunch, Inari said happily as he ran up to his grandpa. Hey Inari, let's eat. Guys, half-hour break for lunch. Tanuza called out to his group and they all went their separate ways. Though right when everyone was situated to eat, a heavy mist came into the area. Crap. Everyone on guard, Zabuza is here again. Kurenai screamed out and her team instantly was on their feet prepared for a fight. Though they weren't expecting the laughter that filled the air. You guys actually think that you can beat us? We know you skills now, so prepare to die. Zabuza screamed out, and then from the other side of them they heard ice shackles. After they heard that, ice quickly spread across the bridge that Kurenai managed to dodge, but her team was too slow. Soon enough they were covered up to their heads with ice, completely unable to move. After that, a water clone of Zabuza landed next to them and put his sword to their necks. Now don't move or we will kill your team, Zabuza told her coldly while releasing enough Ki to show he was serious. So, Kurenai did the only thing she could do. She surrendered so she wouldn't see her team die. Which of course got a smile from Zabuza, who screamed out, "Die!" as loud as he could and charged it with his sword in front of, clearly trying to impale her. Course no one expected Zabuza to be blocked by a boy with two swords. Plus Naruto and group minutes before, plus Naruto and his team were running through the forest around Tazuna's village. Yoshiro was trying to sense where Zabuza is as they ran around the forest. Course they just came to the village a little while ago and couldn't get any information from the village. So, all they had to go on was that he was last seen around the village, leaving them to have to search around for him. Though eventually they found his chakra signal around a large bridge that was being made. Course they also saw that he was fighting Konoha as well. Crap, we can't bring him back to our village if Konoha is pissed off at us. It could cause some trouble for us later, we must stop him, Yoshira said angrily. Konoha will be mad at losing the clan heirs. Course right when she said that, they saw he has about to kill them, so before any one of them could notice, Naruto ran up to Zabuza and blocked his sword with his two swords. Plus everyone plus. What the? Where did this guy come from? Kiba screamed out, while everyone else just stood there in shock. Zabuza, the demon of the mist, you are asked to return to your position as a ninja of the village hidden in the mist by order of Mizukage. Naruto said simply. Bah, I will never go back to that bloodline-hatting bastard. Zabuza screamed out, showing his obvious hatred of the guy. Not him, we killed him, our Kage is Mai-sama. Naruto screamed out. Course when Naruto said that, the rest of the team showed up and thankfully Yoshira quickly gave him the official scroll that gave him proof before he tried to kill Naruto again. So, of course Zabuza took the time to read the scroll and found it to be legit. Okay then, so the new Mizukage wants me to come back, Zabuza asked, then received a positive nod as an answer. Zabuza-sama, what do you want to do? Haku asks her. Master. Well, I am going to go see what this Mei gal wants. So, you can go do whatever you want, I don't own you anymore, so just go live happily somewhere. Zabuza told Haku. Please do, I don't want to break my tough guy act by saying that I think you are my daughter in all but blood, Zabuza wished as he said this. No, I will stay with you, Zabuza-sama, even if I do have to go back to that hellhole. Haku said, determined. And with that they both released Kurenai's team and started to leave the area with Naruto and his group until they heard a voice yell at them. Well, it looks like the great demon is just a big softy. Man, am I glad I went with a backup plan. Now kill all of the guys but leave me all the girls for my enjoyment later, especially that ice bloodline demon. A short pudgy man screamed out, causing all of his thug army to charge. Shit, what are we going to do? I mean, there is no way we can kill them all with the amount of people we have. Kiba shouted, starting to freak out. Calm down, Kiba, we won't let these weak perverts get. Kurenai started until she felt a large mass of Ki radiate from somewhere near them. So, of course everyone looks to where it comes from and truly get afraid. For right there was Naruto with his Rinnegan activated and swords drawn, looking down at the thug army. The ki amount that was released from him was so much that the people around him could have sworn they saw the Shinigami standing right behind him. You will not touch my friends. Naruto screamed out in a voice that was about as demonic as a human voice can get. And with that, Naruto charged at the army. For the next 5 minuets there was what could only be called a massacre. Blood flew everywhere and one of the thugs died, leaving only Gato left alive. Thankfully Inari passed out from the key before he was mentally scared. Please don't kill me, I will give you anything you want. Gato begged Naruto when Naruto grabbed him by the shirt. So you will write down the location of all you have stolen from these villagers. Naruto screamed at him and of course he did exactly what Naruto wanted. After he did that, Naruto just smiled sadistically. Okay, then I won't kill you. Naruto said, making Gato sigh in relief. They will. Naruto told him after a few seconds and then threw him to the villagers that gathered with weapons at the ready. And with that, Gato's screams of pain were heard all over the town. And with that, Gato's army and life was destroyed by a single boy. Plus next day plus. Tazuna let the Mist Ninja spend a few days in his house to recover, so that is what they did. Course that was until Kiba decided to flirt a bit. So, he walked up to Mai, Megumi, and Haku to try and get one of them. Hey girls, how you doing? Kiba asked, making his voice sound as strong as possible. Hey, they responded and then went back to their conversation. So, what is your names? Kiba asked them simply, which they all answered truthfully, seeing no reason to lie. Ah, such beautiful names for beautiful girls, Kiba simply asked them, trying to get them to like them. Oh, thanks, but we are already dating someone, Mai and Megumi answered immediately, which was the exact time said boy and all the other ninja walked in and Naruto immediately gave them both a big hug, making them blush as they felt his muscular body. Hey princesses, how is it going? Naruto asked both of the girls, who both smiled when they heard the nickname he gave them. What, you are both are dating? What is your name? Kiba says in disbelief and then remembered they never got his name, so of course all of the ninja besides his team listen closely to him. Oh, well, you guys can call me the White Fox, I guess, seeing as my real name is unimportant. Naruto said, simply shocking all of the people there. You mean you are the White Fox? Also known as the youngest traveling ninja? Hinata said in disbelief. Yup, as all Naruto tells them, just because he still isn't used to people being surprised by his nickname. Wait, you mean the person most respected by the civilians is a pervert? Kurenai said while her and Hinata began to get their anti-pervert jutsus ready. Wait, Yoshira quickly said, then pulled the two other girls out of the room. You see, he is not a pervert. I know that for a fact. The only reason he has multiple girlfriends is because our council decided that he needed to replenish his bloodline quickly. And neither girl was forced into it, they really do all like each other. Yoshira said, trying to calm down the two angry women. Stupid council, making it so men get to live out all their perverted dreams, but if you say so we won't kill him, but he is your village's problem if he becomes a pervert and tries to rape all of you, Kurenai said and then walked out of the room. Oh, well, are you seeing anyone, Haku-chan? Kiba asks, hoping that he at least gets one. Sorry, I am a boy, she said simply while thinking, yes, anti-pervert sentence always works. He thinks I am a weird guy, not a girl. Course this also depressed Kiba, so he left the room with his head down. Hey Naruto, why didn't you tell them your real name? Haku asks him when it was only their team around. Well, Mai-chan told me she wanted to keep the White Fox's name a secret from the world until she feels it needs to be released. Which was a good idea for her, because could you imagine all the crap that Konoha would put her through if they found the Kage's son was a ninja in a different village. His name will be kept secret from everyone besides his village until it seems a right time to reveal it. Also, all his village already knows, I just don't want to fit him telling them into a chapter. Plus 2 days after plus. The bridge was finally done, so both teams leave in their separate directions thinking different things. I have to tell everyone about the White Fox, all 4 Konoha ninja thought as they ran back home. So Naruto is still available even if he is dating someone. Maybe I could date him as well, I mean he does seem great. I mean he protected us and obviously cares for both of them, Haku thought, then realized she was staring and turned away with a blush on her face. My daughter has her first crush. Well, I guess she picked someone that seems good. But if he hurts her I will personally kill him in the most painful way possible, Zabuza though as he saw his daughter start blushing. Meanwhile all the rest of them were just happy they succeeded and wanted to reach home as quick as possible. Plus Wave Village plus. Hey, what should we name the bridge? Inari asked his grandpa. You know I have no clue. Wait, what about the Great Tanuza Bridge? He asked the village hopefully, only to get everyone screaming no at him. Course that was the time that Tsunami decided to try to name it. Hey, what about the Bridge of Peace? I mean, that is what those ninja brought to us with it, she said, then waited for the answer. Which surprisingly was all yeses. So, from that moment on, the bridge was called that. Kurenai and her team just finished with their mission debrief and went their separate ways. The three genin went to the meeting grounds to tell all of them more about the mystery that is the White Fox. When they get there, they find all of the genin already there enjoying a small meal of rice balls as they talked about random topics. Hey guys, bet you can't guess who we meet on our last mission. Kiba said mockingly when they reached the rest of them. Should we actually care, Kiba? I mean, it was probably just some random ninja anyways. Sakura said, vocalizing the whole group's lack of care. No, actually, Sakura-san, we meet the White Fox on our journey and it seems that he has joined the mist. Shino said calmly, but yet still surprising the whole group. Wait, you actually met the fox? Ino said in disbelief and got approval nods as her answer. Oh, wow, so what did he actually look like? Why was he there? She asked the entire team, wanting to know everything she can about the enigma called the White Fox. Well, the White Fox seems to be a man who loves to be mysterious, seeing as he never removed the cloak he wore to keep his identity secret. Though we can see that the description matches the one in the book, except he is not wanted by the Hidden Mist, instead it seems he is a member of them instead. I mean, he brought Zabuza and his helper back to them, saying that it was a mission for them, so it is safe to say that he is one of them. Hinata tells her friend, making sure they all knew the same information. Ah, so the fox settled down then. Shame he didn't come here then. I mean, could you imagine being able to actually find out who he really is? So much easier. Now if we want to find out more, we will have to actually see him in various places. Ino said, a bit saddened by the news. Bah, why do we want to know about someone who can't even enter the village anymore? We know he is real now, so what does it matter? There is nothing more reason to find out about the fox. Kiba says to them, a bit annoyed. I mean, really, all of you girls should be focused on the alpha male here, me. Not some other guy that you can't even get around. Kiba thinks after he tells them that with a perverted smile on his face. Still, they all felt he had a point and just focused on training, seeing as they all wanted to get to be in the Chunin exam. Meaning that they needed all of the training they can get to be prepared for it. Plus Naruto and gang plus. Naruto's team reached the Hidden Mist with Zabuza quite quickly, seeing as they weren't searching for anyone on the way back. Course, when they got there, they immediately went to Mai to do their mission debrief. Sis, we have completed our mission, Mai said happily as she walked into the room. Well, first of all, will you two be joining our village again? Seeing as the cause of you leaving was only attacking the last cage, so do you wish to join under me? Mai asks both Zabuza and Haku, then waited for their answer. Yes, we will join you, but if you ever become like that bastard was, it will lead to the same fate. Zabuza said, then quickly felt a large amount of Ki focusing in on him. So, of course he looks around and sees the cage with a sickly sweet look on her face. If you threaten me again, then there will be nothing left of you except a puddle of lava. Mai said calmly in a voice that sent shivers down Zabuza's spine. Hi, Zabuza says, obviously a bit afraid of the woman in front of him. Geez, why is this scaring me so much? It is just one girl. But, for some reason my body is telling me that it would be best for my health to keep on her good side, Zabuza thinks as he looks at the cage in front of him. Okay, then we will be giving you the rank of Jonin again, though you must tell me a good position for your partner. Mai says simply. Ah, yes, young Haku should be right around a Chunin in skill. Zubaza said calmly, thus seeing Haku being thrown a Chunin vest. And with that they left the room to go get Zabuza situated in town again. Plus week after plus. Okay then, are you guys ready for the exams? Mai asked Yoshira's team as they all stood next to the village entrance. Yes sis, we will make sure that everyone knows just how strong the mist is. Mai said happily. You better, or else we won't be able to come see your matched in the final round. Haku said semi-serious as she watched her friends preparing to leave. Yubi, we will make it Haku Haim, Naruto said determined. Course that brought back the memory of how he first learned that Haku was really a girl. Equals flashback equals. Haku was happily walking with two of her friends, Mai and Megumi. All three of them were focused on buying all the stuff Zabuza and her needed, seeing as missing ninja always have money but usually lack anything else except for the bare minimum. Okay then Haku, what do you want in terms of clothing? Mai asked Haku, seeing as they promised that they would help Haku get situated. Well Mai, I don't really need anything too fancy. Maybe just some regular kimonos, casual dresses, undergarments and such. Only enough for little while, then I will buy other stuff when I can actually enjoy myself in carefree shopping. Haku said calmly. Okay then, that should be good. Wait, did you just ask for female clothing? I thought you were a guy. Megumi asks, causing Haku to blush a bit in embarrassment. Well, you see, I find it so much easier just to say I am a boy than to deal with perverts. Plus, Zabuza sensei told me that it would be easier to not attract attention if I didn't look like a girl. Which makes sense, because if you look like a guy no one will try to flirt with you. Haku said, still blushing at having to tell her friends. Oh, well, I guess we can understand that, but why didn't you tell Naruto? I mean, he is a pretty good guy, he wouldn't try to do something to you. Mai said. Yeah, well, I didn't want that Kiba kid having a chance of overhearing me. Haku said happily, and with that they all just continued buying random things for Haku's new home. Thank you for helping me set up our home, Haku said, truly thankful for her friend's help. No problem, now make sure that you and Zabuza come to the restaurant for the celebratory meal after our first real mission success, Megumi said, and with that they all left to prepare for the meal they were going to have. Later that night, Naruto, Yoshira, Mai, and Zabuza were all at a random restaurant waiting for Haku to show up, seeing as she was the only one not there. Okay then Zabuza, do you know what is taking Haku so long? Mai asked, only to see Zabuza shrug. Haku didn't tell me anything except that he might be late for some reason. Zabuza said simply. Though right after he said that, said person walked through the restaurant door, surprising a certain blonde. Haku walked up to them with her hair flowing down her back. She had red lipstick and just a slight amount of makeup to show of her face's true beauty. She was also wearing a pink kimono with sakura flowers and a dark red sash tied around her stomach, which showed of her figure perfectly. Altogether she was looking absolutely beautiful. Especially with her checks slightly red because everyone was looking at her. Haku, I thought you were a boy, Naruto said in total surprise. Does it look like I am a boy now, Naruto-kun? Haku asked while walking up to him. Which of course made Naruto blush even more until she finally sat down next to the still shocked Naruto. Course everyone else was laughing at the way Naruto reacted, seeing as they all knew that Haku was a girl. They just didn't expect her to do something like this to tell Naruto. Course after that they enjoyed the rest of their meal while still picking on Naruto every now and then. Course after that day Haku became one of Naruto's girlfriends. Course she only became one because she grew to like him from when they talked as they came to the village. Which of course was completely fine with Mai and Megumi because they both knew she was going to be with them eventually. Flashback end equals. So, now that you guys have finally finished saying goodbye to us, then just leave so you don't miss all of the exam because you couldn't stop saying goodbye. Zabuza mockingly said. Stop acting like you won't miss us, Naruto told him in a sarcastic voice. In your dreams, kid, Zabuza said with a tick mark beginning to appear on his head. Nope, my dreams aren't about you, so sorry, and with that Zabuza began to chase Naruto around the field. Well, we better go before we lose a teammate, Yoshira said, and with that they all left to go to Konoha. Near Konoha plus. Okay then, now that we are so close to the village, let me remind you of two things. One, remember that we aren't here for you to become Chunin. You more than likely will become Chunin no matter what. And two, Naruto will be known as Yuto Rustoshi. Oh, and Naruto, please wear this mask to hide your whisker marks. Yoshira said, handing Naruto a white mask which he calmly puts on his face. Then they walk to the entrance. Halt and state your business, a random Konoha Chunin at the gate asked them. We are here for the Chunin exams. I am the sensei Yoshira, and this is my team Mai, Megumi, and Yuto. Yoshira said as she pointed to each member of her team who nodded when their names were called. And after a while they were allowed to enter the village. After they got situated in their hotel, they all went to just walk around the village a bit. So, they all went their separate ways, with Yoshira going to get food, Naruto to do some training, and the girls went shopping. Plus Hinata, Narumi, Ino plus. So gals, where are we going next? Ino asked happily as she and her friends went around shopping. Doesn't matter, we are just celebrating the fact that we got nominated to be in the Chunin exams. Narumi said, just as happy because of the chance of meeting strong opponents. And with that they all entered the next store only for Hinata to see two people she didn't expect to see again. Is that you, Mai? Megumi? Hinata asked, surprised when they saw each other in the store. Oh, hey Hinata, haven't seen you since the mission, Mai said neutrally when she saw the Konoha genin. Hinata, you know them? Hinata's friends asked. Yeah, I do. This they are Mai and Megumi. The teammates of the guy the first was telling you about. Hinata said with a bit of annoyance in her voice because she remembered that he had CRA. Hello, both missed girls said normally, receiving the same from Hinata's friends. Course with that they all went on shopping till for quite a while until they finally stopped and just sat down and talked for a bit. So, are you guys nervous about the Chunin exams? Narumi asked her new friends. No, we are excited. I mean, we both are completely ready and we know our teammate is as well. Megumi said confidently while Mai nodded her head agreeing. Wow, pretty confident, but where is your teammate anyway? I mean, you guys have been relaxing all day yet we haven't seen your sensei or your teammate. Ino asked, hoping to see the famed white fox. He is right behind you. They all hear right behind the bench they were sitting on. Which of course surprised all of the Konoha kunoichi, who both jumped away from the voice only to see the person they were asking for. Don't do that, Ino screamed out at him and then saw the person their group was talking about for the first time. She saw a tall boy that seemed to be about her age wearing all white with a white cloak that had the kanji for white fox on the back. He had bright blonde spiky hair, shining blue eyes, and the most noticeable thing about his face was the mask that covered the bottom half of his face, same as Kakashi's mask. Course she couldn't help but notice that he was a good-looking guy. So, you are the white fox? Narumi asks while looking closer at Naruto. Shit, it had to be her, didn't it? Kami couldn't keep her away from me. Nope, I have to meet my so-called sister right away. Hopefully she won't realize who I am. I mean, it has been a while since I saw her. Naruto thought, sweating a bit when he saw her. Could he really be my brother? It is hard to tell seeing as he is barely showing any of his features, and it is not like I can just ask if he is Naruto and expect an honest answer. I mean, when he left he still hated me. I guess I will just have to observe him and find out for myself. Besides, Ino and Hinata will help me, seeing as Ino already seems to like his looks. Narumi thought as she looked at the white fox, trying to figure out who he really was. Naruto-kun, could that really be you? Damn it, if I was out of this seal I could just sense your chakra. Oh, well, I guess Narumi will find out eventually if we get lucky. Natsui thought as she saw the fox through her cage's eyes. Well, hello there ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Yuto Rustoshi, otherwise known as the White Fox. Naruto said kindly, hoping that his sister would take it as the truth. Thankfully, due to the time, they only talked for a bit more before they had to leave for their hotel rooms. Plus next afternoon plus backquote. Naruto was just walking around town until he heard a little kid screaming out for help. So, Naruto quickly went into the forest where he saw a boy about his age wearing way too much makeup holding up a little boy that seemed to be struggling to escape. Course it was not his village, so he decided to watch for a bit, seeing as the boy wasn't going to be injured at the moment. Hey, let me go, the boy complained. Shut up, you brat, you need to learn what happens if you rudely bump into someone, the boy with makeup said, clearly mad at the boy and prepared to punch the young kid. So, Naruto prepared to come in and stop it until he heard a voice telling the makeup wearing to drop the boy. So, both the boy and Naruto look over to see Narumi standing there glaring at the boy. No, this brat needs to learn a lesson about hitting their superiors. The boy told Narumi. Kankuro, don't do it, the girl standing beside him warned him quietly while she nervously looked around the area. Shut up, Tamari, I don't care, Gaara isn't around, so I have nothing to fear. Kankuro said, and then was about to continue with his punch until he saw a red flash and Narumi had the kid near her. Which, I suggest you don't attack a member of the village Aegean or else I will be forced to protect him, thus killing to do it, Narumi told him coldly. Course they were both surprised by her doing the flash that they didn't even notice her glare. Oh, Great, the first Konoha ninja we see is the Kage's daughter. Kankuro says sarcastically to the Tamari. Do not involve me with that man. My name is Narumi Uzumaki, not Namikaze. Narumi screamed out, furious with the sand ninja. Wait, what is going on between those two? I mean, they were just fine before I left. What happened? I have to say I am curious about it, but really it doesn't matter to me. Naruto thought when he saw her reaction. Course, right after she said that, a voice was heard. Don't worry, your name won't matter when you end up proving my existence, a redhead says creepily. Gee, Gaara, how long have you been there? Tamari said nervously when she saw her brother. Long enough to see that my brother is a disappointment to the village and to see the perfect victim to prove I am alive. See you at the exam. Gaara said with sadistic smile that showed just how bloodthirsty the boy really was. They all look the same as they do in anime shows, so I feel no need to do a description of them. And with that went their separate ways. Plus Ninja Academy plus. Narumi and her team was walking up to the room 301 for the first part of the test course. They went into a genjutsu zone as they walked onto the second floor. On this floor they see a bunch of genin huddling around a door that was being blocked by two people. Well, look at all those fools that can't even see through this weak genjutsu, Sasuke said when they were still a ways away from the group. Course, when he said that he was going to go and tell them, so Narumi quickly grabs the back of his shirt and dragged him up to the room, leaving the kids to their fates. When they got into the room, there were a bunch of kids already there, but they still had about 15 minutes till the test actually started, so they went to keep themselves occupied for the time. 10 minutes later. Same teams as in anime except for Naruto's team and Narumi. Basically all of the teams were already in the room that were going to be there. Though there were only a few minutes until the first testy actually started. So, people were now just trying to intimidate the other teams or hide away, becoming less of a target. Which is why when Naruto and his team showed up, a couple of kids tried to intimidate them by leaking their ki into their surroundings. You guys think we should show them what real ki is? Megumi whispered to her two teammates. Yay. Sis did say she wanted us to demonstrate our village's power. Mai whispered back, causing them all to get an evil smirk as they let out their own ki, which not only destroyed the other kid but to also increase it so much that the kids were visibly terrified by the team. Though after a few moments the Konoha ninja began to talk until an older boy with gray hair came up to them offering information on their opponents, which Sasuke quickly took. Give me information on Gaara and the White Fox. Sasuke said, hoping he had at least some information on each of them. Those two seem to be the strongest, most known ninja here. So, if I beat them, it will show just how great I am. Plus, it might even show Narumi why she sold be one of my wives, so the Uchiha can be even stronger than before. I am glad I actually listened to the council. I mean, they had a good point. Getting her will allow me to get more jutsu from their clan, so I can have even more jutsu to use against Itachi. Sasuke thought as he asked for the names. Okay, then let's see what I have on them. The genin said, shuffling through his info cards. Ah, Gaara from the Sand Village. Also, the Kage's kid with his brother and sister as his teammates. They have done 4D ranks, 15C ranks, and 2B ranked missions. Though the most notable part of those missions is the fact that he has never got injured in any of his missions. The genin told them, scaring them a bit. That has to be a lie. No genin can even do a B ranked mission but never getting injured. That has to be even more impossible. Kiba asked, just getting a shrug from the boy. So, without saying anything else about Gaara, instead he just started talking about the next person they asked for. Now the White Fox, otherwise known as Yuto. He was a wandering ninja until he suddenly joined the Mist Village. His teammates are Mai, the sister of the Mizukage, and Megumi, the cousin of the last Mizukage. He has completed 15C rank missions and AB rank. The genin finished giving them just only a small amount of information. Course, after he read the card, another man came into the room right behind the desk. Everyone was talking near. Though Sasuke was still thinking about what he was told. Both of these two seem to be really strong. They should be excellent opponents to prove my clan and my strength to everyone. Especially Narumi. I will finally show her that she should be with the strongest Uchiha alive. Attention maggots, my name is Ibiki Morino and I will be the examiner for the first test. A man sternly called out. Course everyone listened to him quickly just because of his appearance. Ibiki was a tall man around 6 feet with a black trench coat covering up his gray shirt and pants. He wore his forehead protector as a bandana which covered all of the top of his head. Though his face was the thing that really scared the kids. His face looked stern with cold black eyes that seemed to look through you and a permanent scowl on his face. He also had 2 scars that went across most of his face diagonally. Both of which were close to his eyes. So everyone quickly sat down in their designated seats. He began to explain the rules. Okay, this is how the first test will work. You have an hour to complete the 10-question test in front of you. Though you have 10 points to begin with, each time you are caught cheating we subtract 2 points from you. If one of your teammates loses all their points, the entire team is out. So with that being said, begin, Ibiki says, and then all of the Chunin hopefuls began their tests. These questions seem to be too hard for the average genin to answer. So, there must be a few people here with the answers that we are supposed to copy off. They are practically telling us to cheat. Well, if they really want us to. Naruto thinks and then wrote down a scroll copying seal on a corner of his paper and then tore the seal off. After it was off the paper, he put a protection seal onto the back of the seal's paper so that it couldn't get wet. He then mumbled water snake jutsu, putting a small amount chakra into it so that it was small enough to slither through undetected. When it was formed, he gave it the seal and then sent it to one of the clammiest looking genin in the crowd. Which took a while, seeing as Naruto needed to make sure it wasn't caught. And thankfully no one noticed it, as the seal was placed onto another person's test where it began to slightly glow blue, showing it had copied all that was on the paper. Then Naruto slowly brought it back to himself. When it did, Naruto took the seal and placed it onto his own paper and sent more chakra into it so it would place all the answers onto his own test. And that is my test complete, but what about the 10th question? I mean all they put on the test, for it is, will be told at latter time. Oh well, I guess we will have to just wait for them to tell us this. Oh, so secret 10th question. Naruto thought until he discreetly looked at his teammates' girlfriends who looked to be extremely nervous about their test. So, with a sigh, he figured that they didn't want to chance cheating, so he quickly sent out another water snake to give them the seal, confident that Mai and Megumi would know what to do with it. Course they both did so. With a half an hour left, all 3 of them were happily waiting for the time to end or the 10th question. Plus Narumi was surprised about hearing both of the guys' information. Even if it was just their teammates and their mission count, it was still surprising that both of them did B-rank missions. They both were people she had to keep her eyes on. Course soon after she heard about them, the exam started and she had to focus in onto the actual test. Why are these questions so hard? How do they expect us to do these questions? Wait, they want us to cheat, don't they? Narumi thought, freaking out until she realized the point of the test and looked around to all her friends who all seemed to be doing fine. So, she just spent her time either worrying about what she was going to do and cursing herself for not learning Rakan Jutsu or tactics. Course that was until she heard a voice in her head call out her name, which worried her until she heard the tone of Ino's voice. Ino, what do you want? Narumi asked her friend. Well, I figured you wouldn't have all of the answers, so how about I just give them to you, okay? Now the answers are, Ino began and then started telling Narumi all the answers, who happily started writing them down. Okay, then all Konoha genin have all the answers, and judging by the looks of the White Fox's team is done as well, so I wonder what will happen with the 10th question. Oh, well, I guess I will just use this time to try and figure out the mystery that is the White Fox. I mean, even though his name was said, I can't help but think that is my brother, but I have no proof. Wait, that is it. I need to get that mask off, and if he has the whisker marks I will know it is Naruto ni. Narumi thought, hoping that it was her brother. Yes, Kit, that has to be Naruto-kun, but like you said, we need to be sure, so it would be best if we can either take that mask off, see if Hinata remembers his face, or learn it from his teammates slipping up and telling us themselves. Natasi told her container to get a physic nod in return. Plus everyone plus. The time for the first test was running out. There was only about 2 minutes left when Ibiki began to speak again. Okay, then, seeing as it is getting towards the 1 hour mark, one will ask the 10th question. But you must choose if you want to take this question. For if you answer it wrong, then you will fail the test and never be allowed to take it again. But, if you give up now, I will let you and your team go and you could always take it next year, Ibiki told all of the genin, shocking them. What, but there are kids here that have done the test several times already. One of the genin complained. So, what? They didn't have me as the examiner, so just decide whether you want to continue or not. Ibki said with an evil smirk. So with that, everyone watched as a couple of teams quit. Though eventually began to slow down, so Ibiki tried to thin out the genin just a bit more. Oh come on, there are so many genin here that are taking it for the first time. A lot can happen in these tests and you might die so young. So, trust me, you are going to want to just give up this year and try again when you have a few more years under your belt. Ibiki told them, trying to act sincere. Ibiki managed to get a few more to quit and was going to try again quickly before he had to give the question, but he was interrupted by one of the mist ninja. Would you just give the question already? Your scare tactics aren't going to work anymore, so just give the question and let us continue with this test. I don't want to waste time having to sit here listening to an old man try to scare us. Naruto told him, trying to get him to continue the exam. I don't want to stay in Konoha any longer than I have to. I don't want to deal with all the bastards here. Naruto thought after he complained to Ibiki. Damn kid, now that the mood is gone and all the brats got their confidence again, it is pointless to continue this anymore. Damn Gaki, I will be hearing Anko's comments about leaving so many already. Ibiki thought to himself and then said, okay then, so are all of you sure you want to continue? Which received approving nods from all the kids. Then all of you have passed the first exam. Ibiki told them, confusing all of the genin. Wait, what about the last question? Kiba asked, confused. So Ibiki removed his headband, showing a bunch of scars on his head. Ninja are meant to be able to get and hold information secretly. Course, sometimes you must pay for the information or have to deal with a question that could have many possible answers. So, that is what this test was about. Now all you have to do is Ibiki told them, until a ball crashed through the window. Soon after the ball came through, a woman who seemed to be in her 20s or 30s stood up. She had purple hair that was put up into a ponytail that made it look like a pineapple. She also was pretty good looking for her age, which was clearly shown by her coat that just barely covered up her. Course, she pinned up the sign with a few kunai when she entered, which read, the Anko Mitarashi, second examiner of the Chunin exams. Well, look how many teams are left, you are losing your touch, Ibiki, Anko told him as she looked around at all the genin. Or maybe these kids are just all as strong this year, Ibiki suggested to her, causing her to laugh. Thus causing all genin around her to get a little mad at the woman. Okay, all you brats meet at training ground 44 for part 2 of your test. If you aren't there in 10 minutes, you automatically fail. She told the genin and then shunshined away to it, leaving a few leaves where she stood. Course, all the genin started freaking out except for Naruto's team, who just shrugged and shunshined away, leaving behind water mist where they were before. Which surprised all the other genin around. Who ever heard of genin being able to use that jutsu, was all that was going through their minds for a bit, until they realized they were being timed and quickly ran out of the room trying to make it to training ground 44. When Naruto and his team finally got to the training ground, they saw Anko just starting to open a pack of dango that she apparently was going to eat while waiting for the teams. Though right before she was going to eat the first piece when she noticed Naruto's team. Oh come on, how are you brats here already? There is no way a team could find this place that quick while running. Anko whined childishly at them. Yeah, you're right, it did take us a while, but we shunshined around till we found you, which saved us some time. Mai told her like it was completely common for genin to know that jutsu. Wait, how do genin know that jutsu? I mean, I didn't learn it till I was a chunin for quite a while. Perhaps Ibiki was right about these kids being an excellent group. Though something tells me there is more to this team than meets the eye. Especially that blonde one. Though why does he seem so familiar? Anko thought until she saw all of the genin were finally there, so she needed to start the exam. Okay then brats, this is how the second exam is going to work. We are going to throw all of you into training ground 44, otherwise known as the Forest of Death. In this forest you will have to survive until you get 2 of these scrolls from your fellow genin. Now of course there is a 7-day time limit for when you need to be at the tower in the middle with the scrolls. If you are not there on time, lose a teammate, or open your scroll before entering the tower. Now each one of you need to sign this pamphlet saying that we are not responsible for your deaths if you die. And after that you and your team will go to that tent to receive one of these scrolls. Anko explains to all of the genin, who got slightly nervous just by hearing what the second test had in store for them. Course they were all surprised by a voice in the crowd sarcastically saying, "Oh, the forest of death, I am so afraid. What is it going to do, wrap me in vines? Please, we can easily survive in a regular forest." So, they all look at where the voice was and saw Mai standing there after saying with a confident smirk on her face, with Naruto and Megumi standing behind her with the same smile. Though Narumi and Sasuke were thinking along the same lines, except they were a bit more fearful because of the stories they heard about the forest. Course Anko decided to try and scare the kids that were trying to act brave by throwing a kunai at the one boy of their group. Course she could have attacked one of the girls, but she had the best angle on the boy, and due to her dedication of trying to a certain Konoha Jonin's mask off helped that decision as well. Though right after throwing the kunai an event happened that surprised everyone. When they both were in the vision of the other genin, they saw the kunai that was thrown in Naruto's hand pointing behind himself at the throat of Anko. "You need to be careful with kunai, you might just hurt yourself," Naruto told her, just making her more angry than surprised. "Yeah, Gaki, but it might hurt you as well," Anko told him with a sadistic, and then moved the kunai that she had closer to his back. Course no one saw, but she only grabbed it when she saw that he caught the first one. Course they separated soon after she said that, and she walked back in front of the genin. Though no one noticed the glare that Mai and Megumi was giving Anko. Though all the teams got prepped for the forest after that. Okay, then now that everyone is all situated, have fun killing. I mean fighting each other, and let the second part of the exam begin, Anko said happily over the speakers that went over to each of the gates. And then all of them open, allowing them to begin to try and get their scrolls as soon as possible. Plus Naruto's team plus. Okay, so what is the plan? Naruto asks his teammates. Well, we have 7 days, but seeing as there will probably be people setting up traps near the center eventually. Though we could also wait for them to get what they need so that we don't bother us, or we could just take care of them so that we can loot the looters. But for now we might as well explore for a bit, because I am curious why Konoha Ninja are so nervous about this place. Megumi told them, completely serious about the task on hand. Okay then, so how about we just hunt down a team or two while we look around then? Naruto tells them, and with a nod they all go out into the forest to hunt for other teams and for what might be lurking in the forest. Plus Narumi and her team plus. So Sasuke-kun, what should we do? Sakura asks her crush. Well, right now we should hunt down one of the strongest teams here, so I say we go for either the team from Sand or Mist, Sasuke says, and then gets back to looking for an opponent. Soon I will prove to everyone just how superior I am, though, as they continued on. What? Are you kidding me? We should go for a weaker team so that we can easily get the scroll we need. Why would we bother trying to go for a stronger team when we don't have to? Narumi says in disbelief. Oh, shut up Narumi Baka, you are just too weak to like Sasuke's plan, Sakura spat at her. Course that caused Narumi to sweat drop at her hopeless teammate. You are weaker than me, Sakura, as all she could think as she then ignored the ranting of her teammate as they traveled through the forest. Though she couldn't change Sasuke's mind, so she just went with them and hoped that they didn't find anyone too strong. Seeing as it is never good for you to show off your true strength before it is necessary. Course they never expected that a single genin would show up and launch Narumi using a wind jutsu, which caught her by surprise. Well, hello there Sasuke-kun, the genin said in a creepy voice. What do you want? Sasuke asks angrily. I want something simple, a fight for the scroll, the genin said happily, and then took out her scroll, wrapped her tongue around it and swallowed it. EEWW, as all the rest of the genin could say when they saw that. Course they couldn't think about it because the genin attacked them soon after she swallowed the scroll. They tried to fight back, but she was so fast that they were unable to fight back. So, Sasuke quickly activated his bloodline and managed to hit the genin with a fire jutsu, so the genin fell to the ground burning for a bit until it finally went away. There, I think we got the bastard, Sasuke said as he breathed in relief. Then they both began to walk away from the smoldering ground where the body was, which was hidden under a smoke cloud. So, neither one of them expected a head to come out of the smoke quickly on what appeared to be an elongated neck. The head quickly bit Sasuke between his neck and shoulder blade and retracted just as fast as it extended. Kukuku, keep the gift I gave you and remember who will be able to give you more strength than you could ever dream about. The body that was now standing up told them, allowing Sakura to see exactly who it was but not Sasuke, seeing as he was currently withering on the ground in pain. Course that made Sakura pale when she saw the face of the Rouge Sanin Orochimaru beneath what looked like charred flesh. Sorry brat, but I can't have anyone tell everyone about my gift yet, so I have to kill you, Orochimaru said with a smirk that showed that he was not truly sorry about. And with that he began running towards the still shell-shocked girl. Though neither expected a water whip to come between the two of them. So sorry, but I can't let you get rid of them. Even if they are annoying. So, I guess I have to stop you. Narumi said and then got into her stance prepared to fight and hopefully beat the Sannin. Then they quickly began their battle. Plus Naruto and Team Plus. Naruto, Mai, and Megumi were all running around trying to figure out the forest. And so far they were finding weird things everywhere they looked. It seems that this forest is the perfect grounds for animals and plants to grow. Seeing as few people come into this place due to ninja not wanting to be in the testing area. So now everything has nothing but its natural enemies to worry about. And even then it is minimal because of all the food around. Allowing everything to flourish, it is actually kind of nice to be in this perfect forest if it wasn't for the fact that someone up the forest making it want to kill anything that isn't natural to it. Naruto thought as he ran with his team. Or at least he was until he saw one of the saddest traps he ever saw. It was a steel wire tied between two trees, trying to decapitate them using their own speed. Which probably would have been smart if it wasn't for the fact that you could clearly see the wire. So, of course all his team just stopped to just stare at the trap's stupidity. But of course they eventually looked up into a tree by the trap that was making a noise that seemed like snoring. How can they be sleeping with only this pitiful trap as a defense, and in the middle of the day? Mai asked her team, who just shrugged, clearly wondering the same thing. So of course the entire team was trying to hold back their laughter at possibly the worst genin team in history. But they only stayed for a few short moments and were about to just search the team and leave when they saw them start to wake up. Ah, what a good nap. One of them said happily as he stretched out and then saw the team just looking at him and his team. So of course he quickly woke up his other teams and they all jumped, fell to the ground below. So, a team finally gets the balls to face the strongest team here. Beware, for we are the only team here composed completely of Konoha's counselors' kids, they all said together and striking a pose. Which is when Naruto's team saw all of their expensive weapons and armor. Course they were also clearly shown to be from rich families just because it seemed that they felt that ninja could still wear jewelry because they looked to be covered in as much jewelry that could manage to fit on themselves. Altogether they looked like 3 shining gold medal cans. Wow, how can they call themselves ninja if they not only wear enough armor to block their movement but also make themselves noticeable by wearing shining jewelry? Naruto and Mai couldn't help but think, looking at the one of the weirdest teams in the exam. Course Megumi felt no need to wait for them to attack and ended up just running behind them and slamming their heads together, instantly knocking them out. Though when she looked at her friends she saw their questioning looks and simply said, "What, you would do the same thing if you two weren't too busy gawking at them," which of course was completely true. So they all got started trying to search for the scroll that team had and eventually found a earth scroll which they needed, meaning they were done with the test already and it was only sunset of the first day. But all of a sudden they felt a spike of foul chakra in the air and a girl screaming. So, they decided to check it out, seeing as they couldn't help but want to help, and then began racing to what seemed to be the direction of one of the biggest trees in the forest. Plus Narumi and her team plus. She and Orochimaru were fighting for at least 10 minutes and it seemed obvious that he was just toying with her. Well, my dear Narumi-chan, I think I had enough fun with this fight, so how about I just take you out of the equation for a while? Orochimaru told her, then brought back one of his hands which soon had fire and kanjis on all of his fingers except his pinky. And when he felt it was ready he slammed it into her already existent seal and simply said chakra suppressing seal, which screwed with her chakra system, thus knocking her out for a while. And as soon as she fell, Orochimaru saw that the pink-haired girl was beginning to come out of her shock, so he took one last look at the team and melted into the ground under him, not leaving any trace of himself being there. Oh, crap, I am the only one able to move right now, but we need to get away from here, seeing as all the noise must have called someone. Sakura thought and then began to pick her teammates up and brought them both to a nearby pine tree that had its branches low enough that it made a tent. 2 hours later, Sakura had a bucket of water and bandages that she was currently putting on her sweating teammates' heads. She was trying her hardest to give medical care to them, but she didn't know exactly what to do, but she did manage to set up a few traps around their tent. Which was good because she soon heard one of the traps being set off, launching a few hidden kunai. So, she grabbed her weapons pack and ran out of the tent and saw Ino and Hinata's team standing there. "Hey Sakura, how are you doing?" Ino asked happily to the girl she thought of as a friend. Who of course just stood in her stance until Ino finally told her that the Konoha ninja should be sticking together. Which of course lowered Sakura's suspicions, but she still was tense until she finally decided she couldn't beat them all anyways, so she just lowered her defenses and greeted her fellow Konoha ninja, who turned out to be actually peaceful. So, they began to talk about how they were holding up in this part of the test until they heard another trap going off, and then they immediately went out to try and fight the intruders. "Okay, then just give us the Uchiha and we will let you live," one of the genin from the Sound Village told them coldly. "Never," Sakura screamed out and then raced towards them without thinking about her odds, and was almost instantly caught by the only female on the other team, who smiled sadistically at her. "Get ready to die, you annoying Pinky," the girl said, and then began bringing a kunai to Sakura's throat, completely intending to cut it. Course that was until she was hit by a large mass of evil chakra. So when Sakura looked up, she saw the person she loved standing where her almost killer was and cried happily, "Sasuke-kun, you came to save me," she said happily through sniffling, which was completely ignored by said guy. Instead of listening to her, he beat the crap out of the team they were facing and planned on killing them until he took a look at all of the people around him. Though mainly looked at the girls and instead just told the Sound Ninja to leave and kicked them away from the area. Then he looked back at the females in the Konoha teams with a lustful look. "Come with me, all of you girls, you have the honor of being the first of the many girls I will have to restore my mighty clan," he told them, and without waiting for an answer brought them all back to the tent, and put a barrio of evil chakra around it, which left the other males unable to do anything to stop the Uchiha. "Yes, Sasuke finally noticed me," Sakura though happily, as she was dragged into the tent for whatever the Uchiha wanted, while the rest of them were having different thoughts. "Crap, with this chakra level we probably can't beat him. Just great, not only are we going to get raped, we are also going to have to give our first time to this sleazeball." All the others were thinking, completely afraid of what was going to happen. Course what they didn't expect was Sasuke to leap at Hinata first and rip open her hoodie and shirt with a kunai, causing her to scream out in surprise and despair, which was probably heard throughout the area. But if Sasuke wanted them, then he would have to overpower them. And that was the start of their battle, as all of the male teammates were trying to get through the shield. Plus Naruto and Team Plus. When Naruto and his teammates got to where they thought the sound came and saw all of the male teammates of Konoha attacking a weird-looking mass of chakra that was dark purple, showing just how rotten the chakra was. And even though they didn't care for Konoha ninja, they still felt they had to deal with the producer of the chakra. "What should we do?" Naruto automatically asked Mai, seeing as he didn't want his ideas of Konoha to get in the way of the team. "Well, I think we should send Yuto in to get rid of that chakra while we hold back the other teams." "Sound good," Mai tells her teammates, getting two quick nods in return, and then set off to do what they were supposed to do. So Naruto soon jumped down to the ground and started writing seals in the air using chakra, completely ignoring the other genin who were getting ready to attack him as well, seeing as he trusted his teammates. "What are you doing, Partia?" Choji started saying until two girls got in their way. "So sorry, but we can't let you attack him. But don't worry, we only want to get rid of this evil chakra. We don't have any reason to fight you guys," Mai told them honestly. "You don't get it, the bastard Uchiha brought all of our female teammates in there and locked us out. I don't care what you do, just make sure you find a way to stop the bastard from doing whatever he wants to them." Kiba growled out while staring at the force field of chakra. "Evil Destroyer seal" was heard from Yuto, and the seals he wrote turned white and attached to the chakra chamber, which tried to cover them up. But the seals won over and made a hole in the center of the seal big enough for a man to walk through, but it was only temporary, seeing as the seal was already starting to turn purple, showing how the chakra in it was being corrupted. Still, Naruto ran through the hole without hesitation and saw a sight that made him blush and shake in rage. When Naruto entered the zone, he saw that Sasuke had just finished ripping all of the girls' clothing and was about ready to rape them all when he finally noticed the newcomer in his area. "What the hell are you doing here?" Sasuke angrily asked Naruto. "Don't worry about how I got here, just know that I am going to kick you for trying to rape these girls." Naruto growled at him, realizing enough ki that everyone in the area had a shiver of fear run down their spines. Course Sasuke seemed to be able to ignore it and just started laughing while still showing just how much evil chakra he still was using to subdue all of the girls in what looked to be chakra whips. Whips that were tied around their hands and feet. "Ha! You think you can beat me? Not only am I an Uchiha, but this chakra makes me invincible. Now die," Sasuke told him angrily and then lunged at him. Course Naruto expected that and quickly dogged Sasuke's fist and attached an evil containment seal onto his back and let him pass by. The seal worked immediately and got rid of all of the putrid chakra in a matter of seconds. Which of course freed the girls and opened up the chakra field. Course the guys were still being held back by Naruto's team just in case, so instead the girls in the zone got out of their shock and began to beat up the Uchiha as punishment for being a pervert. Well, all of them except Sakura, who seemed to still be in a fantasy of some sort. Course they only beat him up for a few moments until Naruto gave the boy a little bit of mercy by kicking him out of the tree, into another tree's trunk, hard, putting him in a near-death state. So with Sasuke taken care of, Naruto looked over to the girls and blushed again when he saw them. Sorry about taking away your prey. I will send my teammates in to see if they can help you with all of your predicaments. Naruto told them and then began to walk away. What, not feeling perverted today? Hinata asked angrily, remembering that he already had more than one girlfriend. Course Naruto just stopped walking for a moment and without turning around responded to the still irate girl. "I understand why you feel that way, but I am not a pervert. I only date the girls that accept my unique situation and still love me. If you feel I am lying, then so be it, but I tell the truth." And then he continued walking to his teammates. When Naruto got outside, he saw everyone at a standstill. So, he walked over to his girlfriends, who both seemed happy to see him again. "Hey my, Narumi, the Uchiha was the source of the bad chakra. Oh, and there are a few girls that could use your help in there. I suggest you go. I will hold off the Konoha shinobi." Naruto whispered to them and then sat down next to the tree and started shining his sword. Plus Konoha's Genin's POV plus. All of the Genin were confused what to do when they heard a girl scream in the barrier. They knew they had to get in there. Course anything they tried failed and they were running out of ideas and were about to all try using their strongest move when two girls jumped in their way, stopping them. After they saw the girls, they saw the white fox jump down as well, right a few seals in the air somehow, and then jumped into the portal. Course they were all surprised by that and then were even more surprised that the chakra soon went away and Sasuke flew out hitting a nearby tree. Though that didn't matter to them all that much, instead they looked the blonde now walking out of the trees as well. They all prepped for a fight, but he just quickly talked to what could only be his team for a bit and then the two girls went into the tree fort as well. Course they felt they should now be able to get to their teammates, so they all got a bit happier. "Good that shield is gone. Now let's go see how our teammates are doing," Kiba said happily and started walking towards the tree until a kunai landed in the ground right in front of him. "Wait, what the hell do you think you are doing, bastard?" Kiba yelled at the blonde who was sitting down on the stone. "You will not be welcome in there right now," the blonde said simply, then went back to shining his sword. "Bah! They are Konoha Genin. You don't know anything about them, so get out of our way. Or we will make you," Kiba told him, getting even more angry. Course he was surprised that it was one of his friends who talked next. "Kiba, perhaps you should be more careful. We have no idea what these guys are capable of. In fact, we only know that he is very good at fuinjutsu. I don't think we should rush into battle stupidly," Shino told his friend, who was about to respond until they heard the blonde again. "Very smart, bug user. I thought I sensed something moving about the room and apparently it was your idea. Smart, real smart. But anyways, even though I think my teammates were already told you this, but we have already got what we need for this test and mean you no harm. Even if I don't really like Konoha for my own reasons. Still just give them 10 minutes and I am sure that they will all come out. But if you try and go in I will have no choice but to stop you. The white fox told, acting like he was talking about something unimportant. Even if he doesn't say it threateningly, he still sounds completely serious. All of the genin though, as they looked at the man with a little bit of fear. So, it was a standstill with neither side wanting to move first. Plus girls plus. Gah, I don't believe what that Tem was trying to do with us. That is why it sucks to be a girl in this world. Ah, well, what are we going to do because I am so not wearing this destroyed piece in front of any of those guys? An angry Ino complained until they all heard someone entering the tree tent. Who are you? Narumi asks, hoping it wasn't one of their friends. Calm down, it is Yuto's female teammates. He told us you might need some help here. Oh, I see why he was embarrassed. Mai said as they got a good look at them. Then they started unsealing clothing for the girls from seals they asked Naruto to put on them. Oh, thank you Mai-chan, Megumi-chan. But tell me, where did you guys get those seals? I mean, seal masters are really rare. Hinata asked, truly curious as she put on the new set of cloths. Oh, well, Naruto is pretty good at seals, so he put them on us. Megumi said, then silently berated herself for nearly saying Naruto. Oh, wait, about him, why do you both want to date a pervert like him anyways? I mean, you two are both pretty enough to get a better man than that. Tenten asked, then was surprised by a large amount of ki coming from the two girls. She asked. Never say that about Naruto-kun. We liked him before he was even forced to get CRA placed upon him. Besides, he is a good man. I mean, he always is helpful for everyone he meets. I mean, he has to be one of the most kind people that are on the market. For example, he helped us in the rebellion even when he didn't have to. Besides, we asked him not the other way around and he even told us about it before he accepted. So never say he is a pervert. I mean, if he was, you think he would have just gawked at you instead of getting us to come in here instead. Megumi angrily said, then calmed herself down, figuring they asked due to ignorance. She has a point, he didn't stare at us at all. I guess he might not be, but I still am keeping an eye on him. Wait, did she just say he helped in the rebellion when he didn't need to? Does that mean he wasn't from the mist originally? All of the Konoha girls there though except Narumi added the last sentence. Course, before she could ask about it they all were changed and walked out to see the guys looking ready to kill each other. What is going on here? Narumi asked all of them, trying to figure out why they were so mad at each other. Well, we are just trying to get by this bastard to go see our teammates who were just brought in there for who knows what by Sasuke Tem. Kiba said, annoyed with the blonde who still seemed calm as ever. Well, it is a good thing he did, because if you came in we would have had to punish you, Hinata told him, with all of the girls nodding their heads in agreement. Damn it, he was actually right. Oh well, I still won't say anything to him. I don't trust him at all, but his smell, it seems kinda familiar. I mean, it wasn't from any time in the present, but I think I have smelled it far before when I first met him. Must be my imagination. Kiba thought right after Narumi snapped at him. Okay then team, let's head to the tower now, Mai said, hoping to get out of the forest already. Course her teammates wanted to do the same thing, so they said goodbye to the Konoha ninja and ran to the center. Plus tower plus. We finally made it, Naruto said happily as they walked leisurely into the place. Course they quickly opened the scrolls, saw the seals, and threw them to the floor to see a large amount of smoke come from them. Then all of a sudden they see the second exam proctor standing on their scrolls. Congrats on coming here Gakis, now you just have to wait in here until it is time to go to the third round, she said simply, then left the team just as fast. Oh okay, who is up for finding the mess hall? Naruto said when they all heard his stomach growl. Which of course made his girlfriends laugh a bit, then walk with him hoping to find food, seeing as they were a bit hungry as well. Plus third exam start plus. All teams there are the same except for Naruto's team, who is also there, just not the same as anime. Okay Gakis, you did good getting here. And I must say I am surprised how many of you made it here, and I would like to tell you to be happy that you made it to the third part of the exam, Anko said, then paused for a moment, then continued. But, seeing as there are so many of you, we must hold a pretest to get rid of some of you. So, with that said, let the second part of the second exam begin. Anko finished happily, which gained a completely different reaction from the genin. Which was simply being almost every single one of them there screaming out, "What? You brats heard me correctly. Due to the fact that there are too many of you here, we need to thin the ranks even more." Now Hayate explained the rules of this part. Anko said, then looked at a sick guy in the corner of the stadium. "By the way, his name is completely unimportant to me, so don't complain if I got it wrong. I just don't see the point of searching for it. I mean, I will only mention him when the fight begins, so really who gives a shit about him? Sorry if I disappointed anyone. Okay, then I will be the proctor for this part of the examination. Which is really a simple one. All you have to do is fight and defeat your opponents. Teams don't matter here, you only have you to watch your back. Oh, and killing is allowed but frowned upon here. Now when you see your name on the board above, come down here to fight. Now the first people are." Hayate said, then started the competition. "All of them are the same, so I am only going to do Narumi's, Naruto's, Mei's, Sasuke's. He deserves to fight someone other than a chakra stealer, and Megumi's. All of the other ones are the same, so there is no point for you to see them. Well, Hinata doesn't get hurt as bad but still loses." The boards eventually turned on again, showing the next match, Yuto vs. Kiba. "Excellent, now I will be able to show all the girls exactly what a strong guy is," Kiba said happily, and then gave a lust-filled look at the girls left the arena. Meanwhile, Naruto just quietly walked down to the arena floor after being wished good from both of his girlfriend's teammates. When they both reached the floor, Kiba's trash talk began. "You might as well give up now so you don't have to see me beat the crap out of you. I mean, sure, you might be pretty good at beating thugs, but I bet you have never even faced a true ninja. But don't worry, as soon as your girls fall for me, a real ninja, I will treat them good. I mean, they are clearly worth keeping with their looks," Kiba said, then sent a lust-filled glare at Naruto's girlfriends, failing to notice the glare he was getting from Naruto. "Okay then, participants ready? Then begin," Hayate called out, starting the match. Almost insentiently, Kiba ran away from his opponent to prepare his attacks while Naruto just stood there calm as ever. Soon Kiba called out "Fang over Fang" and started spinning rapidly at Naruto, landing a blow that caused a dust cloud to form, blocking everyone's vision. Course that only lasted a few moments until it cleared up, showing Naruto standing over Akamaru, who sat in the center of a crater. "Akamaru, you bastard, I will kill you with my new jutsu," Kiba yelled, furious with Naruto. Then he quickly called out a few earth clones and they all yelled out "Ultimate Fang Cloud," and they all started spinning in speed towards the still unmoving Naruto. When they all got within range of him, they attacked blindly, making a circle with a diameter of about 20 feet filled with spinning Kibas. Course the attack quickly filled the entire stadium with dust, making everyone there barely able to watch and breath. Though when it finally cleared, they only saw a heavily breathing Kiba standing in the center of a deep hole in the ground. "There, I avenged you, my friend. Wait, crap, I got him with that attack too. Now we won't even have a proper burial for him. What am I going to do?" Kiba says when he realizes his mistake. I don't know, how about you live with him for a few more years?" A voice said from the side of the stadium, said calmly, so of course everyone looks over at the voice and what they see surprises them. How did he manage to survive that? Most of them thought to themselves as they saw Naruto sitting down with Akamaru in his lap, enjoying the petting he was getting from the blonde. Wait, how did you survive that? I should have killed you. I can't believe you are alive, boy. I thought Yuto got you. Kiba said, still shocked until he saw his dog and immediately forgot about everything else. Well, Kiba, it is simple really. I don't feel the need to kill friendly dogs. Especially when they are this friendly, so I didn't want his life to end just because he had a stupid owner. And as for how I am alive, well, I just don't feel like telling, so how about you just surrender now and I will let you and the puppy go away. But if you don't surrender, then I will have no choice to start breaking your bones until you do. Naruto told him calmly, ignoring the growl he heard from the dog in his lap. I surrender, Kiba said unhappily until his dog ran up to him and they instantly began talking to each other. Winner Yuto, Hayate said in the same neutral voice. And with that, Naruto and Kiba went up to their seats while Akamaru was taken by Kiba's sister Hana for a checkup. Course Minato, Narumi, and Kushina all didn't really think about the match after Kiba's attack, seeing as they were all busy thinking the same thing. Was that a Hiraishin he just did? Plus what they saw plus. Kiba was just a few inches from actually hitting Yuto when there was a bright flash and he was gone. Though right after that flash happened, Yuto came right back and quickly teleported out of the way again with just a few seconds left before he got hit. Which was clearly seen by the rips in his cloak, the Horizon. But there was no seals. It couldn't have been, could it? Plus smallest flashback in the world done plus. Still all of them were in shock trying to figure out exactly who and what is the white fox. Course eventually everyone noticed the board moving again showing the next match my versus. Megumi was called out and both of the girls happily walked down to the stadium floor. You ready for me to kick your to show Yuto who truly is the stronger one of us? Megumi asked with a smile. Yeah, I am, and don't worry, I will be sure to tell him you tried your best before you got your kicked, my returned, and then they both waited for the examiner to start the match. And begin, Hayate said simply, and then both of them began to fight. They started off with their basic taijutsu moves, managing to block each other, keeping in pace with neither side getting off to many good hits. Still they continued on until eventually Mai managed to kick Megumi into one of the walls. Still Mai wanted to make sure Megumi lost, so she quickly went through some hand signs and called out Earth-style mud shot and then spat out a glob of mud at the wall. Ah, why did you have to doge that? I was hoping I could get this done quickly. Mai said childishly to seemingly no one until everyone saw Megumi appear behind Mai. Sorry, but I am not one to do something just because a bratty girl wants me to. Megumi said with a smile, then quickly whispered water whip and created her favorite weapons, two whips that were long enough to reach about 30 feet out from her. Oh, so you want to play with weapons, Mai said, then jumped to the other side of the stadium. Then she pulled out a single scroll from a hidden sleeve and quickly opened it while spreading blood over a seal it had on it. Soon after she put her blood on it, summon smoke came from the scroll that quickly vanished, showing two commas with chains on the bottom of them. Course the most interesting part of the commas was the fact that it was a dark red that seemed to be changing to different shades of red. Almost like it was made of captured lava. Let's get this party started, they both said happily, and then both began to run at each other after screaming out Kai. The battle to the untrained eye was just a bunch of random sparks and the sound of metal hitting metal. Though if you could actually see it, you would see the two girls doing everything they could to land a blow on their opponent teammate. These two are genin. Geez, these two should be at least chunin by now. And how did they manage to get seals for stuff? I mean, I am pretty sure that seals are rare in any villages. Oh, well, that is something to worry about later, but for now I will just enjoy the show of power. Kurenai thought as she watched the girls fight. Course the fight lasted for a good half an hour before both of the girls returned to their original places at opposite sides of the arena, both breathing heavily. Well, I guess we will have to end this pretty soon, Mai said between breaths. Yay, I guess it will all be brought down to this last attack. Let's make this look good with the mist signature Megumi responded, getting a nod from Mai. Yay, it would be the best, seeing as we don't want the other villages to know too much about us, so our own dragon jutsus should still show the strength of the mist. Mai though, as she nodded, knowing that is exactly what her friend wanted to say. So they both began to do the long strings of hand signals until they were both finally ready. And two calls were heard: water-style steaming water dragon and lava-style molten dragon. Both of these forming two giant dragons that were both steaming hot, causing everyone in the arena to start to sweat. Course all of these attacks impressed all the people in the area, seeing as no one expected genin to know these kinds of jutsus. Still the dragons were there and began to collide, causing lava droplets and steam to spread throughout the area for a few moments until no one was able to see the actual match due to the amount of mist. Which of course took about a minute to clear up, showing two girls standing still on opposite sides of the arena with a pool of lava at the center. Course neither side was moving, so the referee came up to check up on them and found an interesting sight. Both of the girls managed to stay standing even after they passed out from chakra exhaustion. Seeing as both genin are unable to fight anymore due to chakra exhaustion, neither one will continue on due to no clear winner being formed. Now we will wait for the jutsu's remainder to be cleaned up before we start the next match. Hayate called out as Mai and Megumi were brought to the hospital. So, of course Naruto wanted to go see them, but his sensei stopped him with a bit of reasoning, making him stay until all of the matches were done before he could go see them. which she only did because he needed to make sure he got into the finals now and couldn't risk getting in trouble for leaving earlier than he was supposed to. They better be fine when this is over. Gah, I should be with them. I don't trust anything about this village. Oh well, I just hope this doesn't take too long. But if something happens to them, I will make sure the people who did it get the punishment they deserve, Naruto thought as he watched the final two people start their match, Narumi versus Sasuke. Plus arena floor plus. How about you just give up and hand yourself over to me like you did in the forest, Sasuke told her just like an order. You Uchiha, you only were able to do that because you gave Sakura a chakra pill I asked for. What a surprise I had when I found out it was a date rape drug. I am telling you that as soon as this is over I will tell the officials and put you into jail. Narumi growled at Sasuke, leaking a large amount of ki. Bah, I can't get in trouble. I have all of the council on my side, well, all of the civilian mostly, but still I am untouchable. Now I will beat you down and take you as my first baby maker as soon as this is over, Sasuke said. Course Hayate, having ignored their rambling, simply started the match as soon as they stopped talking. So, Narumi quickly called out Water Dragon to try to kill the Uchiha as fast as possible. Course Sasuke had his Sharingan activated, so he managed to use a fire just in time for him to escape its reach. After he dogged the dragon, he came in to start the taijutsu battle with him, trying to hit her in the face with a side kick which was quickly blocked. So after that they both went into their own fighting style. Narumi with her water dragon style and Sasuke with his modified version of the Uchiha style that he simply called the killer style. They went at it for only a few minutes until Sasuke overextended his fist, allowing Narumi to quickly take out a kunai and stab it into his stomach, utterly surprising Sasuke. She then slashed him across the chest and launched him into the wall with a vicious kick to the kunai in his stomach, thus piercing him even more. Course Sasuke was starting to worry after he felt the kunai stab so far into his stomach that you could only see half the handle that was now covered by blood running down it. He also had a few broken ribs that probably punctured a lung, and his chest was still sore from the slash she gave him across it. Shit, she might just kill me. No. I refuse to die. I am the Uchiha, not her, meaning I always win. I can't die here. I need to kill Itachi and restart the clan in my own image. Come on, body work. Sasuke screamed in his mind, and he soon felt his curse seal act up, giving him the same feeling that he had in the forest. The feeling of power coursing through his entire body as the black marks moved to cover his entire body. Also, the amount of chakra also seemed to heal his wounds as well, seeing as he could no longer feel them. Ha ha ha, you can't kill me now, die you bitch. Sasuke screamed out and charged at Narumi with inhuman speed and slammed her into the other wall, keeping a hold on her throat the whole time. So, what are you going to do now, Narumi? You see, this is true power now. You can't do anything to stop it, can you? No, of course you can't. So any last words? Sasuke said as ever. So still struggling to breath, Narumi spat out only one Rasengan, and then slammed a swirling mass of chakra into Sasuke's stomach, sending him flying back into the wall he was in previously, except he was now upside down. Course, with the curse seal still on, he began to try to get back onto his feet, so Narumi quickly started Anther Jutsu, calling out water spear, making a cone of water come from the ground in front of Sasuke, stabbing him in the gut again. Winner Narumi, Hayate called out before it got any worse. So, Narumi happily released her jutsu, causing his blood to quickly come out, meaning that he would die if he didn't get medical attention, and maybe even if he did. Goodbye, bastard, Narumi said simply, then walked away. He so had that coming. Most of the genin there were thinking when they saw the could be fate of Konoha's precious Uchiha. Though the other few spectators were mainly annoyed with their Uchiha stock was damaged. Still, the exam continued, so after a small break all of the remaining genin were called up to the area. Okay, then here is how the third exam will work. For this you will have a tournament mod of fighting with basically the same rules as the second part of the second exam. Now you have a month to train before the exams. Now come up and grab a number to figure out who you are going to be fighting for the third round. Hayate told them, and then they each went up and grabbed a number. Okay, then this will be the matches. Round 1 Yuto vs. Narumi. Round 2 Tamari vs. Shikamaru. Round 3 Neji vs. Kankuro. Round 4 Gaara vs. Shino. Meet back here in 1 month at 11:30 so we may begin the matches. Hayate explained, and with that the preparation time for the final part of the exam began. After Hayate released all of the genin, Naruto quickly ran to the hospital to see his girlfriends. So he quickly went up to their rooms and saw that they both were awake in their room, which wasn't that surprising seeing as they both always seemed to recover from training fights rather quickly. The thing that was surprising was the fact that he wasn't the first person to go and see them. "Hey Megumi, how you feeling?" Naruto asked his girlfriends, ignoring the company for a moment. "Yay, we feel better now. Oh, sorry for not coming back sooner, but the doctors decided that we have to stay here for a bit longer to make sure we are okay. But thankfully Ino and Hinata were here already to talk with us a bit to keep us from getting too bored." "So, who are you fighting for the next round?" Mai told him, then asked, clearly curious about what she missed. "Ah, well, you didn't miss much, just that Narumi girl destroyed the Uchiha. I mean, he probably will die if he doesn't get help. He will probably die. Serves the bastard right if you ask me. Anyways, after that they gave us a month off and I will be fighting the first match with Narumi apparently." Naruto explained to them. "Oh, well then we will have to whip you into shape after this so you can win for us then, right? Now can you get a doctor or something so we can actually get out of this damn place?" Megumi ordered with a small pout, making Naruto chuckle slightly at his girlfriend's impatience at it. "Yes, I will get one of them. I mean, how could anyone forget that you hate hospitals nearly as much as I do?" Naruto told them, then left the room still smiling at his girlfriend's antics. Plus still in room plus. We are not trying to say your friend is weak or anything, but I am not sure if he will be able to beat Narumi. I mean, she is the strongest genin I have met." Hinata told them. "She might be strong, but Yuto is strong as well. I mean, he has a lot of secrets you guys don't know about still. So, you better tell Normie to prepare for one hell of a fight because Yuto won't be taken down so easily. I mean, we don't date weaklings after all." Mai screams out happily, clearly confident in her boyfriend. "Sure, we'll tell her, but actual L about your boyfriend, we are sorry for what we thought about him. I mean, he is nothing like what we thought he would be. I guess you really can't judge a book by its cover. Really old saying just seems to fit." Ino said, staring down at her feet in shame. "I mean, we all though he was a perverted bastard like every other guy, but he still saved us from the asshole of an Uchiha. I don't even want to think what would have happened if he didn't show up. Though we girls probably should help Sakura with her mental problems, seeing as she is still going after him even though he nearly raped her and us." Ino though is a continuation but decided not to say it out loud. "It's okay, I am sure Yuto doesn't mind that you thought of him like that. I mean, it does look that way. Though if you really want to apologize you should tell him, not us." Megumi told the girls, trying to cheer them up. "Yeah, you're right, we will do that eventually. Nay, why don't you two come to an all-girls sleepover at Narumi's? I mean, we will have to ask her, but I am sure she won't mind." Hinata asked them, hoping to make more friends. Yeah, we probably could just let us talk it over with our sensei." Mai said, a bit nervous. "Should we? I mean, they are Konoha ninja, but they do seem nice. I guess we will just have to figure it out as a team, seeing as we already know what ninja from this village are capable of, so we shouldn't take any chances." Mai thought as she gave smirk. Course they both found that answer acceptable and gave them a slip of paper with the address on it and left the room just as Naruto entered with a nurse. The nurse quickly gave the girls a check over and then signed their slip, giving them permission to leave, so all three of them left at the same time to go find their sensei. "Okay then sensei, what is the plan?" Naruto asked to seemingly no one in an empty training field that was surrounded by a large forest. "The plan is simple, we send Haku and Zabuza over to train you for a month here, Naruto, while I help out Mai and Megumi. Oh, and as for you match, don't overdo it. We still want to be on friendly terms with this village and your style on the cages kid won't help that." Yoshira told them simply, which got nods from all of her students. "Okay then sensei, I won't make it too bad." Naruto told her with a monotone voice, making it hard to figure out what he was thinking. "Hey sensei, we were invited to a sleepover with a few of the genin that were in the exams. While it seemed like a friendly invitation, it might just be for information. Should we go?" Megumi asked her sensei, kind of hoping that she could go. "Yes, I think it would be a good idea for you to go. I mean, you already seem interested in it and you could gather information on them too. Course you know exactly what information would be good for us, so if the situation arises, grab it. Oh, and I am sure you could let out minor facts on Yuto-kun if needed as well, but be careful because I think they already suspect something about us, so don't give them more reason to look into it. It would just become troublesome, Yoshira told them, which brought a smile to both of their faces, seeing as this would be their first sleepover. Plus later that day, all of the girls were at Narumi's house except Mai and Megumi. Do you think that they will be coming? Ino asked all of her friends that were just getting situated for the sleepover. I don't know, but either way we are going to have fun after all of the exam crap. Tenten said, rubbing her back. I mean that sand girl did a number on my back, and even with it being healed it still stings. She continued to complain. Yay, she did a number on you, didn't she? But that was only because of that stupid fan. Narumi said, told her friend, trying to make her friend feel better. Course after she said that there was a knock at the front door, so they all went to see that Mai and Megumi finally came. Mai had her hair tied up in a ponytail down her back with dark red nightshirt and pants, while Megumi had her hair down as she normally had it and had a white nightshirt and pants with turtles on them. Hello, we are ready for the sleepover, I think, Mai said, a bit nervous seeing as it was her first one. Good to see you too. Now come in, you two, don't be shy. Narumi said happily. Yay, we will, but just wondering, why did you invite us? I mean, we're happy that you did it, is just the fact that we were enemies just a little while ago. Mai said with a little bit of distrust in her voice. Well, you did help us in there and never really attacked us, so I was just thinking that we could try and become friends, okay? Narumi said with a bright smile while all of her friends did the same, which of course surprised them. Okay then girls, how about you come in and enjoy yourself now before you catch a cold outside, Kushina told them while she herded them all inside of the home. So, when everyone was set up, they all began to enjoy themselves with a party-like event. Okay then, so what do we do at a sleeping party? Mai asked when they finally were all prepared. Course the setup was simple, with basically all of the sleeping bags in the middle of the large living room. What? You don't know what to do at a sleepover? Haven't you gone to one before? Ino asked in disbelief. Course that question quickly depressed Mai and Megumi. Well, you see, due to the rebellion we were unable to relax like actual young kids. You see, Mai was constantly worrying about staying alive in it while I was busy trying to sneak information to the rebels from the inside. So, we truly only got to be happy when we finally finished the war by a mass effort to capture the three-tailed turtle Biju. Megumi said sadly. Oh, wait, how did you manage to beat the Biju? I mean, when we had to get the QB, it nearly killed our cage sealing it, and he was a master sealer. Is the sealer you used okay, and what happened to the holder of the beast? Tenten asked the question all of the Konoha girls were wondering. Well, our seal master must have been better or something, seeing as he didn't die sealing the beast. In fact, all that happened to him was a bit of chakra exhaustion. Though maybe that was because he was younger, perhaps. Seeing as it was Naruto that did it. Megumi said in a somber tone. Oh wow, then he must be really good at seals. Do you think he could make a few for me? Tenten asked, hoping that she could get more seals to play with. Still, that doesn't explain what happened to the Jinchuriki. I mean, for us there was 2 of them and only one of them was treated fairly. Hinata asked, trying to bring the conversation back to learn as much as possible. Oh, well, we only had one and she was and still is treated fairly, seeing as all of our village trusts Yuto's work, so I was treated just like any other ninja in our village. But what do you mean they treated one fairly and the other badly? How is that possible? Mai asked them, faking confusion. Yeah, I know exactly why that happened, and it is why we hate this village. Though it would be nice to see if she changed her ways after all this time. I mean, I don't know what Naruto would believe if he heard her, but I really want to see if she changed. Even if he doesn't believe she can. She thought as she said it, but still managed to not show how much this question actually was answering. Well, see, I had a brother a while ago who shared in the keeping of the QB. Me taking the chakra and him taking the soul. But, while I was liked by everyone and trained by my parents, my brother was sitting on the sidelines all alone. Though I was too much of a brat to realize it at the time, but he slowly began to hate the very thought of being a part of our family and very village. So, eventually he decided to leave the village for good. Course before he did that the Kyuubi which he apparently made friends with gave him a gift using all of the chakra it had. Thus, bringing her completely under my seal. But, after that no one has seen him again. We don't even know if he is alive anymore. Narumi said sadly, then released a depressed sigh. What? Oh, I am sorry to hear that, but it seems you have developed different feelings for him now, Megumi asked, trying to pull out more information. Oh well, I have grown to regret the way I treated him. I mean, not only was he my own brother, but he gave me the hint I needed to figure out my bastard of a dad was up to an evil plan. So, one of my life goals is to hopefully find him and bring him back to a loving family, Narumi responded with determination in her voice. Ha, more like you want to make a family with him, the Kyuubi teased her container. In N Natasi Baka, I don't want him like that. Narumi denied, only receiving a chuckle from the fox. Anyways, let's get this sleepover, stated Narumi told all of them, getting a cheer in return. Plus week later plus. Okay, then we finally made it here now. Where is the brat? Zabuza complained as he took his first steps into Konoha. I don't know where Naruto-kun is, Zabuza sensei, so how about we start off by traveling to the training grounds here? I mean, he is probably still training as hard as he can. Haku responded as she walked in after her teacher. Course Zabuza just nodded and they sped away to the outmost training fields, hoping to find Naruto as soon as possible. So, of course they went around until they found Naruto and a group of people in a training field that seemed to be farthest away from the village as possible. Hey nah, Haku called out until Mai grabbed her around the mouth, silencing her. Shish, his name is Yuto in this village. We don't want him to get caught. That goes for you too, Zabuza-san, Mai whispered to them. Bah, don't worry about Haku saying the brat's name. For me his name will always be Gaki, Zabuza said simply. Course after that they walked into the group again. Zabuza-sensei, Haku-chan, you are finally here. Naruto said happily. Yup Gaki, we are here to kick you're in shape for this test, well I am at least. I am pretty sure Haku only came here to try and get personal time with you and probably heal the future wounds I will be giving you, Zabuza said, smiling at his blushing student. Zabuza-sensei, Haku yelled at the guy who was practically laughing at the fact that she was embarrassed due to him. Wait, what is going on here? Tenten asked in complete confusion. This is Zabuza, Yuto's second sensei. He is here for Yuto to train in his swordsmanship skills. Also, next to him is Haku, who is Yuto's third girlfriend. She is one of the kindest people you could ever meet and decided to become a medical ninja instead. Though if you mess with one of her precious people she will kick your. Megumi said simply, feeling no need to keep it a secret. Oh, so he is going to train now? Tenten asked, getting an approving nod as a response. So, Tenten then calmly walked up to Naruto and kicked his feet out from under him, making him fall on his butt. Hey, what was that for? Naruto called out, annoyed with the girl. I am just giving you a taste of what will come if you forget to make a few more seals for me to play with by the end of the week. Tenten ordered him and then walked away from the field. What just happened? Naruto asked in disbelief. I don't know. Bah, who will ever get how a girl's mind works? Zabuza said, getting glared at by all the girls around him. What, you all know it's the truth? Zabuza insisted, but still was being glared at, so he just pretended he didn't notice the glares anymore. Anyways kid, let's get started now. Plus 2 weeks until matches plus. So, Narumi, you sure you can spare the time from training? Ino asked as she and her were sitting down at Narumi's favorite ramen stand. Do I even need to name it? Yay, it is fine. I mean, I have been training my off for quite a while. I think I deserve a little bit of time off. Besides, there is always time for ramen, Narumi said happily. Course that just causes Ino to sigh. You Uzumaki can never get away from that ramen addiction, can you? Though I do have to wonder how you and your mother aren't fat yet. I mean, you eat more than Choji does when it comes to this stuff. Ino asked as she watched Narumi quickly eat several bowls of ramen already. I guess we can eat so much because of high metabolism or something. Narumi told her friend, not really caring. Oi, Aim-chan, can I get another few bowls of miso ramen? Narumi called out to the stand owner's daughter, who was practically family to her. Coming up, Narumi, Ayame said happily, then started cooking. So, they all enjoyed their meal until they heard 2 loud voices come close to their area. Why do I have to pay for your meal? I mean, you eat way too much for my budget. One of the voices said as they were about to enter the stand. You have to because you decided to wreck my cloths again in our fight. This is payback for all of the money I have to spend thanks to your training methods. A second voice said. Then they came into the stand completely showing Zabuza and Naruto coming in. Course Naruto was currently missing his shirt and the rest of his cloths were torn in several places. Even his mask was torn in places. Hello, can I get 4 miso ramen to start off with please? Naruto asked Yuki. Oh, and a shrimp ramen for Zabuza, Naruto continued. Right away, Yuki said happily, seeing as he found another big spender. Oh, hey, you are the one I am going to be fighting in the first round, right? Naruto asked when he saw Narumi. Yay. So, I take it you were training pretty hard judging by your dress, Normie said with a light blush, seeing his muscles. Geez, he definitely is a heavy trainer. She thought as well, quickly hiding her blush. Course Ino was thinking differently about seeing his state of dress. Damn, he is hot. Why couldn't I have a guy like him on my team instead of a lazy Shikamaru and the heavy-boned Choji, she thought with a heavy blush clear on her face. Okay, then here you go Narumi, and here is your order, sir, Ayame said, and like the other girls got a blush when she saw Naruto. Ah, thank you for the ramen and for letting me see your beauty, miss, Naruto flirted with her. Ah, it is good to see you again, Ayame. I mean, you were one of the only people in this crap hole of a village that were actually nice to me, and my first crush. Though thankfully I can finally see if I can date you, seeing as I have already asked my girlfriends. Course this will be awkward for that reason as well. Wonderful. It's Ayame. Ayame stuttered out with her blush increasing. Wow, why am I falling for a guy that has to be 2 or 3 years younger than me? Oh, well, he is pretty handsome. So, everyone won there just ate their food while chatting and flirting a bit. Added to get interest in Ayame known. She deserves a part in my story as well. Plus arena plus. Okay, then I welcome everyone to the final part of the Chunin exams, where you get to see genin from different areas face each other for the chance to become Chunin. Now let me introduce the special guests we have here today. Please give a warm welcome the Kazekage and Mizukage, who have come to see their own genin's progress in our exam. Now Genma, would you please start the first match? Minato said loud enough for everyone in the stadium to hear. Yes, Hokage. Now will Narumi and Yuto come into the arena? Genma called out, then waited for both of them to arrive. Okay, then now the first match between Narumi and Yuto. Begin, he called out while slashing his hand through the air, officially starting the last round of the Chunin exam. Course when he did, a large amount of Ki was felt around the arena, making most people shiver at the sheer power of it. Narumi, I have finally figured out that you were one of the ones that ruined my friend's childhood. Yuto said, annoyed with her. Wait, I didn't do anything like that. What the hell do you mean? Narumi asked, clearly confused. I mean Naruto Uzumaki. Your brother, the one you guys treated so horribly that he felt that he had to escape his own family. Naruto screamed out, happy to finally be able to say what he wanted to at least one member of his family. Wait, you know where he is? Tell me. Narumi yelled back at him. Will I finally be able to find you, Naruto ni? She thought happily. Course that was quickly changed as she heard him laugh in her face. Yeah, because I will tell you just so that you can torture him again. No, I won't tell you. He is happy now away from you, and I won't wreck his life again by telling you. Naruto yelled out at his own sister. Crap, Naruto, don't get too mad at her. I mean, we told you that we thought she was actually wanting to rebuild her relationship with you again. Why are you not listening to us about this? Do you not trust your own family that much? Mai and Megumi thought sadly as they saw their boyfriend yell at his sister. Grr. Fine, if you won't tell me, then I will beat the answers out of you. Narumi yelled, then pulled out 2 kunai and ran at Yuto. Bring it on. Naruto yelled and then pulled out his swords and ran at her as well. So, their weapons clashed onto each other several times, with loud metallic screeches being heard across the area. Holy crap, I have never seen Narumi so vicious before. Well, except for the Uchiha match, of course. Kiba yelled out from his seat around the Konoha 12. She usually isn't like this, but she really wants to find her brother. So, I guess she is just trying to force Yuto to give her the information. Hinata said simply, then they all turned to look at the match again. Damn, she is better than I thought she would be, Naruto thought as he recovered from a vicious right hook she gave him. How about we pick up the pace a bit? Naruto called out, then brought one hand above his head and one below his waist, whispered hidden mist no jutsu, then disappeared into the mist that appeared. Crap, he is too good to beat easily. Now he has took away my vision. Crap, this is going to be a hard fight even if I have Natsui's help. Narumi complained in her mind. Calm down kid, we need you to be focused if we are going to win. Now I will give you some of my chakra so we can overpower him already and start asking about Naruto-kun. I mean, I really want to hear what he knows about Naruto-kun. Natsuki told her container and then practically forced Narumi to use her chakra. Now how should I do this? I mean, just because she can't see me doesn't mean that she can't still get me. I mean, I bet she has more chakra than me still due to Natsuki. Naruto thought as he began to make a plan. Course it only took him a few moments to realize that Narumi was starting to look more animalistic and her chakra was getting slightly familiar. Damn it, she would have to use Natsui's chakra. Crap, this just got a hell of a lot harder. Naruto complained, then quickly formulated a plan. So before the mist dissipated, Naruto quickly made a shadow clone and hid him behind a piece of rubble and had it start on the only seal that would help him win. Though after he hid the clone, Naruto quickly dropped the mist and created a few mist clones using the water before the Kyuubi chakra vaporized all of the moisture. This is the last chance you will get, Yuto. Surrender and tell me about Naruto, or I will have to beat you until you do tell me. Narumi, Natsuki said in a demonic voice that seemed to radiate power. Well then I guess I will just have to test my luck then, Naruto said simply, then immediately had all of his water clones attack her. Course Narumi soon was covered with one tail of Biju chakra and was exuding so much chakra that it was impossible for the clones to touch her without being boiled to nothing. Well, that ain't too helpful, Naruto said in a neutral voice, but really was sweating on the inside. Shit, I can't use the Rasengan versions. Though right now that would be one of the only things that would actually be able to pierce her chakra cloak. Damn it, I don't know what other jutsu would work now, and I really shouldn't waste chakra on something that won't even work. Oh, well, I guess I just need to wait the 2 or 3 minutes it will take my clone to finish. Though I guess I could keep her talking for a bit so I don't deplete too much chakra in this match. Course the only reason Naruto was worrying about his chakra was because he would have to fight a few hours after this match as well if he won. So, he would quickly lose if he doesn't manage to keep a good amount of chakra. So, tell me, what would you really do if you found Naruto? Naruto asked, hoping that she would talk for most of the time he needed. What, I would bring him back to his home and make sure he got the family he didn't get when he was younger. Narumi told him, still in her demonic state, making it still sound kind of evil. Bah, what proof do I have that you won't just lie to me to get to him? Naruto told her, still believing that she just wanted to wreck his life. Plus Konoha 12 and Naruto's team plus. Why is Narumi so interested in finding her brother? I mean, if a person from the mist is friends with him, then he probably is already a part of their village or something. And judging by the way his friend is acting, he doesn't want to meet her again. Shikamaru asked the entire group. Wow, Shikamaru, why do we even need to tell you why? I mean, how would you feel if you lost one of your family members? I am pretty sure you would want to find them. Plus, for Narumi, she found a family secret that caused him to live such a crappy life, so she wants to pay him back for it or something. I mean, that is how she told us, but I am pretty sure that she is hiding a part of that plan from us. Ino told them all. Oh, so that is what she want. Well, I will tell him what she thinks, but I can't promise that he will listen to me, Megumi told them. Oh, that would be good, seeing as that is all she really wants, a chance, Hinata said, happy that her friend might have a slight chance at reuniting with her brother. Plus Arena plus. No, you are wrong, I just want a chance to start over. Please just tell him that I just want to talk with him at least one last time, Normie told Yuto with desperation in her voice. Course at that moment a clone ran up at Naruto, handing him something before running back to his hideout to destroy himself without letting everyone know it was a shadow clone. Fine, I will tell him that at least, I guess. Though don't get your hopes up. Now let's finish this. Naruto called out, then ran at her. Thank you, but I must defeat you now to become a Chunin, seeing as I don't want to be with the annoying screamer monkey named Sakura or the hopefully deceased Sasuke. Narumi told him as well and raced at him as well, thinking that he didn't know what the chakra cloak she had was giving her a major edge in this fight. I decided to have a little family talk here. Yes, she still is in her right mind, seeing as she only has one tail, it doesn't corrupt her that much. So Narumi didn't expect Naruto to smile wildly, then quickly slammed his hand that held the seal onto her head and loudly said, "Could have had AV8, don't judge, you know you would have said it as well." Demonic suppression seal, causing Narumi to soon feel a major headache as all of the demonic chakra was sealed away again. Course Naruto did notice that one of the chakra claws cut his cheek diagonally slightly. Really just enough to show a little bit of what looked to be a weird line birthmark that Narumi was shocked to see. Naruto. She thought until she noticed Naruto move. Course after all of the demonic chakra was gone, she couldn't do anything to stop Naruto as he quickly pulled out his sword and put it to her throat. Don't bother trying to escape, that seal will mess with your chakra for a few moments so you can't do anything. Just surrender now and save yourself from death, Naruto said. For now anyways, Naruto added when he said that. So, of course Narumi just stood there for a few minutes until she finally sighed and called out, "I surrender," so that everyone in the crowd could hear it. Winner Yuto, now will Tamari and Shikamaru come down to the arena floor? Genma called out. Nice job Yuto-kun, Mai said happily, with Megumi and Haku gave him a bright smile. Thanks my Himes, Naruto said happily as he gave a quick kiss for each one of them. Course after that Naruto sat in an empty seat behind his girlfriends and began to just chat with them about random stuff. Shikamaru's fight is same as the anime. Will Neji and Kankuro come down to the arena? Genma called out, bringing both of the genin, only for everyone to be surprised by Kankuro quickly forfeiting almost immediately after he called out the start of the match. Okay then, will the final two contestants of Tier 1 Gaara and Shino please come down to the arena floor? Then let the final match begin. Genma called out when they both were on the ground, Shino looking as calm as ever and Gaara with a bloodthirsty gleam in his eyes. So, almost immediately Gaara's sand came out trying to engulf Shino, who of course quickly dogged the sand, then released his bugs to go towards the unmoving Gaara. Course right before they touched him the sand went up and crushed them. Course that didn't seem to faze Shino at all. Instead he just sent out more bugs to suffer the same fate. This happened for a couple more times until Shino finally cracked one of his ghost smile and sent out a smaller group of bugs to go at Gaara, who was getting annoyed. Oi, bug boy, stop feeding mother with these small bugs. Just hurry up and let me give her your blood. Gaara ordered Shino as a crazed voice. Course he still brought his sand up in front of his face to kill the bugs until at a random moment his sand receded and a paper bomb blew up, throwing him back a few feet. You may have a good defense, but some bugs actually prefer to burrow, so I just let them use your sand as a temporary home. Course they were also eating the chakra you put into your sand, making it weak enough for the rest of the colony to bring in a few paper notes to put on you. Now surrender or die, Shino said as bloodthirsty as he could without changing the tone of his voice. Never, mother will have your blood, Gaara told him, and then tried to have his sand kill Shino, except it just moved a few feet before it fell to the group, unable to move anymore. Course Shino quickly took advantage of the opening and threw 3 kunai with explosive seals on them right at Gaara, then activating them all, causing him fly into one of the arena walls, causing a large amount of dust to cloud the area. Bug boy, mother wants your blood all the more. Wait, what is this warm feeling on the back of my head? Gaara said insanely until he felt blood dripping from a cut on the back of his head. I am bleeding. My blood is not meant to come out. Mother wants other people's blood, not mine, Gaara said, freaking out until eventually a sphere of sand completely surrounded him. So, Shino, not knowing what else to do, used the same trick he did before, except he had to use his entire nest of bugs. Though all they could do was make a small hole where a large dark yellow eye was seen staring back at him. Course at that time a mass genjutsu affected the entire crowd that seemed to start from several locations and made feathers fall onto everyone's head. Then after most people are sleeping, a large amount of sound and sand ninja came pouring into the stadium to fight the Jonin and Chunin that dispelled the genjutsu. Though Shino's focus was on the now crumbling. Though thankfully he had a few of his friends, teammates show up to help fight whatever was coming. Narumi, what is going on here? Shino asked, still focused on the sphere of crumbling sand. That, my friend, is the one-tail Biju's container. Though it looks like his seal isn't as stable as mine though. Meaning that we are going to practically be fighting against the Biju itself right now, seeing as he is drawing out a large amount of its chakra. Narumi said, simply ignoring the visible shiver of fear all of the other had. Okay, then it would be best if we have Yuto use that seal again for us. Wait, where is he? Narumi asked, not seeing him with all of the other genin. He left when the feathers came like a coward. Kiba told them. What, but how could he just leave? Now Ino, go find him and ask for the seal please. Whether or not he comes or not, just get that seal, we need it. Narumi said desperately as they finished their preparations for fighting the beast. Plus flashback plus. All of the hidden mist ninja saw Mei and the other cages be brought to a tower and locked in a shield away from them, and immediately went to try and get in. Course when they got there, they saw a few poor Anbu who tried jumping into it, burned to death. They decided to try and use seals, so Naruto tried to get to work until his sensei stopped him. Sensei? Naruto asked, confused when he felt her hand at his shoulder. Yuto, I can handle this one. I mean, I am pretty good at seals after all. Anyways, for right now I order you to help seal the one tail back to its container again. Oh, and you girls will help stop the enemy ninja from coming in. Understood. Yoshira asked and got a few nods and a glare from Naruto, which caused her to sigh. Naruto, I need you to help them so we can look strong, remember? How would it look if we just ran at the sight of it? No, we must show that the mist have nothing to fear. So, please do it for me, okay? She asked again and eventually got Naruto to agree when she used the puppy dog eyes. Good luck, girls. I will take you on a date when this is done, Naruto said happily, which the girls all agreed to go to, seeing as this was Naruto's way of saying, please stay safe and don't worry about me, I will survive, and with that they went their separate ways. Plus end flashback plus. Gaara's siblings are still there, they just don't want to get in the way of their brother, so they are staying on the sidelines unless they have to do something. So, Naruto quickly made it back right when one of the genin were about to leave, and he quickly made his presence known. Ah, Yuto, can you please give me that seal you put on me? I mean, I think he needs one as well. Narumi asked, hoping to end this quickly. Nope, sorry, Naruto said happily, shocking all of them. WWH, what? Why? We need it to beat this guy. Ino asked, starting to get annoyed with the fox. I can't do it because it won't work. He is so far along that his entire seal will need to be improved. Which I can do, I just need all the sand to be moved so I can get to the actual seal. Naruto then told them, makng them all breath a sigh of relief. Wait, so how are we going to get the sand off? Kiba asked, hoping they didn't have to fight the creature that was giving off insane amounts of chakra. Course he didn't expect his answer to come after two pretty good sized swords came into existence right in front of his face. Well, we simply have to beat him till he doesn't get back up. Naruto said like it was obvious. What? How are we supposed to do that? I mean, we are genin and that is a biju. You're strong, I will give you that, but not that strong. Kiba yelled in disbelief. Well, so sorry to disappoint, but right now we are all we have, so let's make the best of it. Okay, Naruto said, then took out a small scroll from a hidden slot in his cloak. And what is that for? Tenten asked curiously. This is what will stop him when we get rid of some of his chakra. Naruto said simply.